like paranoid about it. I never actually think it's going.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's gonna.
I'm one of those people. Like I look at it. I'm like, did it cut out? Did it stop recording? There's like 400 hours on that SD card. I'm like, did it run out of space? I don't know.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I've been there before though.
Like paranoid.
Yeah.
All right. Ross Paper Scissors, episode 6, I think. I never know. I should always look at that before I do this.
So. Yeah, I think it is 6.
Yo, get closer to that mic, homie.
Oh, my bad.
Aren't you MD? What's going on?
Yeah, my bad. I always get yelled at for talking too loud into the MD mic, though. So
talk as loud as you want. Move it. You could move this, adjust it, whatever you want to do.
How's that? Are you kissing it or no?
I'll kiss it. I mean, well, I can't really because my mustache hairs kind of fringe on it, and that kind of bothers me. But
okay,
I get pretty close.
Okay, then I'm close. So
yes, here we are, episode 6 or whatever, with my good friend Nick Garcia.
Hello.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me, man.
My parents' beautiful home here.
Oh yeah.
I meant to walk you around because you like mentioned how nice it was to my mom, and I was like, oh, I'll show him, but then I didn't.
We'll
afterwards.
do it after.
So just a little bit soft intro about my good friend Nick here. He was married this past July, right?
Yeah, July 4th.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks.
To beautiful Angela Garcia, who's one of mine and Nicole's favorite peoples.
She's definitely mine. So
you guys are awesome peoples in general.
Thank you.
He recently started a business. Which, when you say that, are you referring to V1 Studios or?
I sure am. Yeah.
Sure am. All right, we'll talk about that later.
Sure.
Where's my pen? I left it somewhere. Nick is also a cancer survivor. Kicked cancer's ass, but we'll keep it PG thereafter. But I had to get that ass in there. Also, graduated college. Did you graduate college recently, or you just put that in there because you're proud of that like achievement?
Yeah, that's like a life achievement that I don't know not many people could actually say. So I was like, let me just put that in there.
Right. Was that like, I feel like I vaguely remember you talking about it now that I'm thinking about it. Was that something like that happened in the interim of like you getting cancer and stuff, and that's what made it more of a...
Yeah. So I got diagnosed after my first year.
Right.
So then I took a year off to deal with chemo and everything, and then I went back after that and finished.
Gotcha. So we'll talk about that too.
Okay.
Also, very talented musician, if I do say so myself. He's very often the bassist or musical director for V1 Worship. He's the guy that talks to everyone on the band and tells them what to do because we're all missing our cues and messing up all the time. So he's the guy on the mic in our ears telling us what to do.
Yeah,
he does a very good job.
Trying not to.
So yeah, that's all he gave me because I guess Nick's a modest guy. I feel like you've done a lot of really awesome things, but that's all you gave me though.
That's what jumped out to my head. I couldn't really think about anything.
Yeah, I feel like it was kind of short notice too. We were just like, yo, let's do it right now, boom, and then like, whatever. So yeah, here we are. So I guess just jumping off point, tell us, the listeners, everyone, who's Nick Garcia, where are you from, what was it like growing up, how'd you get to where you are now?
Sure.
While I get my pen.
I am a 26-year-old dude. Me and my wife live in Lindenhurst now, but I grew up in Levittown, actually, which is like mid-Nassau County, Long Island-ish area. Pretty like middle class, average neighborhood, suburb-ish, and yeah. Just lived a pretty normal, quiet life, I guess. Nothing too spectacular or crazy to write home about, but yeah, that's...
What was it like growing up?
I don't know. I was like one of 3 brown kids in an all-white neighborhood, so it was like I'm like the whitest Puerto Rican you'll ever meet in your life, but...
You look pretty brown to me.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
So what was childhood like? Was it a blissful, amazing childhood? 2 loving parents, loving household, everything was perfect?
I mean, not everything was perfect. We definitely had our issues and stuff like that. But, I mean, we grew up in a church, so it was, like, pretty, like, religious in a sort of way. I mean, like, no Harry Potter, no stuff like that. Yeah, I wasn't allowed to watch Harry Potter.
Like Peter.
Yeah, I didn't watch Harry Potter until, like, a month ago, and... I don't get the hype. To be honest with you, I think they're bad movies. Except for Goblet of Fire. I think that was the only good one.
It's entertaining, though. It's got the entertainment value.
Yeah. I mean, I remember I put like a big status about that on Facebook, and there was just like crazy...
Like 80 comments in a minute.
And not a single person agreed with me. But I just think, I don't know, they're average. I wouldn't make a whole like pop culture scene out of it. Except for the exception of that one movie, I think they were all average.
Did you see? I feel like I sent it to someone, but I don't know if I sent it to you. The comedian who's comparing. He's like, "Yo, J.K. Rowling is a ripoff artist."
Mm-hmm.
He's
I
like,
don't know if you sent that to me, but I definitely saw that.
He's like Harry Potter is literally Star Wars with crappy lightsabers.
Yeah, you sent that to me. Yeah.
And he just goes through the whole thing. For anyone who doesn't know, let me know. I'll send it to you. But he says it way better. But he basically is like, oh, orphan child who's left with his uncle, and then Harry, old wise man, comes to save him. Who was originally the person who dropped him off to his uncle, who doesn't believe in the wizardly sorcery things that he does, and then he goes off to follow in his parents' footsteps, but he doesn't know much about his parents, and then like everything lines up exactly like Star Wars does, and
it's
it just
so
goes on
corny.
and on. It's hilarious.
Like I noticed a couple things like Diagon Alley, which is just diagonally.
Wow. Yeah, it is.
It's like so corny. Like I don't understand, but I mean, that's just a few things I noticed while looking at it. I was like, it's just.
Well, you were looking at it way more subjectively.
Yeah, I wasn't a kid.
With a more critical eye than we did it as. I mean, I still haven't seen all of them, but like as people did as kids. And people always read the books, and people say the books are fantastic. So I don't know how much it strayed maybe from the source material, or maybe it was the directing or whatever that made it different.
From what I'm understanding, what people are saying, she was able to more accurately represent like a year of school in the books than the movies did, which is one of my biggest concerns about it. I felt like they didn't do an accurate job of representing each movie being a year long. So that's why it felt like rushed. I didn't feel a connection to the characters really.
Yeah, I guess I never thought about that. But you're totally right.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's like one scene, it's like they're in the Great Hall eating dinner or whatever, and like there's Christmas crap hanging around, and then the next scene it's like whatever. I don't even know what holiday you would
Thanksgiving.
Maybe it was Thanksgiving first and then Christmas or whatever. But I know what you mean. No, that's interesting. I never thought about that.
And it's like, I don't know, it just felt like winter all the time. So like that definitely
cold.
Didn't help.
It made it more
like it didn't
suspenseful, scary.
Yeah, but it didn't help with the time lapse. So if like they had a scene with all the kids in shorts and then just gradually give them more like heavy clothes.
Where'd they shoot it? I wonder. Probably somewhere in like Scotland or something.
Scotland, yeah.
Where they shoot everything.
Country, yeah.
Yeah.
Where
Lord of the
looks
Rings
the same.
and whatever.
Well, Lord of the Rings, New Zealand.
Well, certain
which
parts
is the greatest
are
movie
shot
series
everywhere. What was shot in? There's got to be something I could think of. Game of Thrones. Some of Game of Thrones was shot in Scotland.
I could see that.
Game of Thrones was actually shot all over the world, which is kind of cool because the world of Game of Thrones is built in an actual world. So when they shoot a scene in the desert, they went to like Morocco or whatever to shoot it, and then when they're in the wet Greenlands, they go to Belfast, and when they're in whatever. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah,
but
I still have to finish watching Game of Thrones. I'm only on season 3, and I've been on season 3 for like 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a good one. It's one of my favorites, except for like the last few, as I'm sure you've heard. Everyone said, but the books are fantastic.
I've heard that as well. Did he not finish it, or did he actually put out the last one?
He's not done. He's got 2 left.
Wow.
And
that's probably why the ending was so weak.
Well, yeah, they ran out of source material. So it was like season 6 into 7, depending, because the different interceding storylines. Some of them had a little bit more source material than others, because the way that it goes towards the I forget if it's the 3rd and the 4th or the 4th and the 5th, whatever the books are. He eventually splits this because there's so many timelines going on at once. They're split between 2 books.
Oh.
So book whatever it was, 3 and 4 take place at the same time, but 3 is like, say, these 7 storylines, and then 4 is these 7 storylines. But you realize that they're going on at the same time.
That's actually really smart.
It's beautifully written.
Yeah.
He is an absolutely fantastic. But here's the thing: is since he put out the first one, he's taken progressively longer to put out the preceding books. So it was like a 1-year gap, then like a 3-year gap, then a 5-year gap. A 7-year gap, and now he's like 76. And I think he's coming up. No, the most recent one came out not too long ago. It's like years ago or whatever. But he's not getting any younger. He's got 2 books left.
Wow.
So people were really upset with how the show ended, and people are like, "Oh, it's because they ran out of source material. The books will make up for it." And everyone's like, "Come on, George, come on, put out." And like he wrote like an encyclopedia of Game of Thrones instead. Like he wrote that. He's like, I'll have it done. Actually, he promised he'd have it done by 2020, the end of 2020 rather.
I mean, with COVID, do you think he would have had more time? Actually,
I hope so. I mean, but I think it was 2018. He literally put out an encyclopedia. It was called Fire and Blood, and it's literally
I heard of
a
that.
few 100-year encyclopedia story, but it's not like a story. It's like, and Otis Baratheon went to this castle, and he took over the castle, and then he became such and such of this land.
A big context, like history.
But it wasn't fitting to what the storybooks were, so it's not like we needed it or anything.
Yeah. It's like the similarity.
And I bought it, and I got like, I don't even know how many hours into it, and I was like, man, I'm just wasting my time here. I'm so disappointed in this. But if anyone wants to attack those books, download the audiobooks. They're fantastic. The books are huge. They get progressively longer, like 30, 40, 50-plus hour books.
Oh, wow.
But if you get the audiobooks, they're voiceovered by this guy, Roy Detrice, who passed away, unfortunately, a few years ago. But he's a fantastic voice actor, and he does voices for all of the characters.
Oh,
and he does, like, every character.
I might have to do that.
So some of them, I mean, you can only get so much when you have, like, 100 freaking characters. But he does a really great job, and they actually put him in the show as, like, background extra and stuff a couple times, which is cool.
It's a good honor.
But yeah, no, he did the voiceover, and that's what makes it, for me, that's what makes it so good, because it's so well written, and he's acting it out, and if you watch the show, you have like a face to the voice kind of thing. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'll probably have to. I'll have to get on that. I've been looking for like a fantasy book to listen to while I'm at work. So
that's
that
one.
Sense. Yeah.
And then there's also is there one or two? There's 2 books that take place like 100 or 300 years before the show. And they're just like one-off books, and they're pretty quick, like 10 hours, not even. Yes. And they're also equally as fantastic.
And he didn't finish the story, but he's doing all these one-offs and stuff.
That's what he's doing. And now he's like 76, and just got to get to it, George.
I wonder if he will finish.
I hope so. I hope so. And it gets so good, and there's so much more going on in the books. Because obviously you can't put all of it on screen for 1-hour episodes or whatever.
Right.
So they cut a lot out, or they combine characters and stuff like that, which they did a good job for the most part. But there's like entire plot lines that are just like...
That's the problem with a lot of these fantasy books. They're just so long, and it's hard to incorporate every aspect of it. Like just like Harry Potter, what we were talking about, and one of my favorites, Lord of the Rings. Like with the show, hopefully they incorporate more, but I don't even know where the show's taking place, so...
Yeah.
Amazon bought it for like $1 billion or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Something like ridiculous, and they're putting out like, I think they greenlighted like a season.
Are the same people involved?
I don't know. But I don't even know what the story is taking place, but I know is they spent like an exorbitant amount of money on the Lord of the Rings property, and they're developing a show for it. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm a big Lord of the Rings guy.
It's pretty epic.
I couldn't watch Harry Potter, but Lord of the Rings, Christian wrote it so I could watch it as a kid.
Really? Was that like the rule?
Yeah, 100%.
Wow. Even though it's like fantasy, magic.
It's like takes place in the same vein. They're like fantasy magic, yeah, but one, I don't know, one's witchcraft and the other one's written by a Christian, so.
That makes it okay.
Old school Spanish Christians, what can I say?
Yeah, so that was a hell of a tangent.
Yeah, I don't know how we got there.
So Harry Potter, you weren't allowed to watch Harry Potter.
Yeah.
So is that, because I've never asked you, is there a difference between the, because you said religious, is the way that you grew up in a Christian household different 20 years ago as it is now, with your whole family being involved in V1 Church and like how they do things, or did you grow up with that same kind of foundation?
So like being like a Christian on Long Island is kind of different than being a Christian elsewhere, and I'll explain in the sense that most religious people on Long Island are either Jewish or like Catholic. So a lot of the Catholic lifestyle transferred over into the church realm, the Christian church realm. So it was pretty religious. We would do like communion and all that stuff, as well as there was like a huge the stereotype that Christians are stereotypical was really felt in like this old school type of Christian church. So my parents being old school, like, you know, suit and tie type of church. And now that we're going to V1, where it's a lot more, I guess, quote unquote modern and like going out and getting people and talking to people instead of being super inclusive, it's definitely different than when I was a kid, when I go to my parents' house for sure. So they're a lot more, I don't know, I hate this term, but like aware instead of saying woke, because I hate woke. They're just more aware of like what it means to be a Christian instead of just doing, oh, we go to church because that's what we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which, I mean, you just told me before that you listened to the last episode with Peter, and he was basically saying that, like, what did he call them? The Creasters.
Yeah.
Which are the people, the Christmas and Easter people, who are like, yeah, we go to church, and then they just go to church those 2 days a year.
Yeah. No, we weren't Creasters. We actually went, like, almost every Sunday, or we tried to, made an effort to, which kind of shaped me as a teenager, because I was like less likely to do something wrong because I was like aware of God, you know, and I was in youth group and all that stuff, so I had like strong convictions about doing things, and going to church my whole life, I felt like it deterred me from doing things. I have 2 older brothers who are like 12 or 13 years older than me, and they've made some mistakes, so I learned from them as well. So that really shaped me as a kid. But nowadays, like, our Christian view is a little different. It's not about just doing the things that make us good Christians. It's actually about having a relationship with Jesus, I guess. You know, the go-to saying. But it's true. It's true. It's a go-to saying because it's true. So
yeah. So did you do stupid things when you were a kid?
I was the good son.
Okay.
There was 4. My mom had 4 boys, so I was one of us had to be the good one, I guess, right? So I didn't do too many. Mostly just like miss curfew, or I didn't really drink till I was 21 or anything. I didn't try like, the pot for the first time until I was in college, stuff like that.
I remember one time I missed curfew by like 3 minutes, and my mom took my car away. Like, she took my car keys.
Yeah, I was grounded for a while. This was before I could drive. Really, the couple big times or before I could drive. So, she just kind of locked me in my room.
Yeah, there was no locks on doors in my house, except for the bathroom. Unless you were just saying, like, she literally said, don't come out of your room kind of thing.
No, I mean, the lock was on the inside, not the outside, so she couldn't physically lock it. But, yeah,
don't
pretty
come
much
out of your room.
Don't leave your room. Don't call your friends. Don't text your friends. You're not leaving his house, so.
Yeah, I grew up in a very interesting household like that, where I was not a good kid by any means, but I wasn't as bad as my brother.
Right.
So, like, he always got the brunt of things, but I feel like sometimes my mom would just be like, you know what, I just got to let him have it every once in a while. And she would just, like, go off. Like, it would be the dumbest stuff.
Yeah.
And literally, like, that story I just said, like, I was at a party, but I was being responsible.
Okay.
And my brother was at a party not being responsible. He couldn't get home. Or even to wherever it was that he was going, staying at a friend's house or whatever. Mm-hmm. But he calls me at like midnight, and he's like, yo, bro, like, can you pick me up at such and such and give me a ride to such and such? And I'm like, all right, whatever. So I drive 20 minutes out of my way to go pick him up and drive him to his friend's house or whatever, and then I come home, and then I'm literally like 3 minutes late.
Right.
Like, it's like my curfew was like 12:30, and it was like 12:33. And my mom's at the top of the stairs right by the front door, and she's like, where you been? And I'm like, Eric needed a ride. I don't see Eric. I'm like, I drove him to so-and-so's house. He needed a ride. He couldn't drive. And she just took my car keys and wasn't having it. I'm like, I thought that was pretty logical. I was being a good person. Like,
right.
Would you rather me, like, strand him?
Yeah,
like,
sorry for helping my brother. Like,
sorry, jeez. Yeah, stupid stuff like that happened to me a lot.
I've had similar experiences, but not like where I missed curfew. It's just like I came home later than I told my parents I would, but it wasn't like curfew. So they were like questioning me, but not like I wasn't in trouble, because one of my brothers are younger than me, so I had to drive him everywhere. So
that worked out.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty hard to miss curfew when you don't have friends. So
what do you mean you didn't have friends?
I'm just kidding.
Is it because you're a nerd?
Yeah.
Did you not have friends because you're a nerd?
I mean, I have a group.
I had like
every school's got a group of nerds.
Yeah, I wasn't like part of that group of nerds, but I was like okay with them. Like, I wasn't like, those kids are dweebs. Like, I was like, they're like, I mean, like, I like Pokemon too. I don't care how old I am. Like,
I wouldn't roast them just in case I needed them, but
yeah. But then, like, there was like, I had only like one friend that like openly talked about like watching anime and reading comics, and even at that, like, I wasn't consuming a bunch of that at that time anyway. So I was like, all right, whatever. Yeah, okay. But like, and now years and years later, I'm like, wow, I'm a super nerd. Like,
yeah, I fit in with those
stuff.
kids. I just never talked to them.
Yeah.
I don't want to be caught with them.
And now I have groups of friends where I specifically, like, I'll see like a nerdy meme and like I know to send it to XYZ person.
Yeah. You know who to send to what. I get them every now and then.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
So,
I love your memes though. They make my day.
Yeah, I feel like I have people randomly send me memes like out of the blue. Like I haven't talked to this person in 6 months, but I literally, someone sent me a meme and I was like, thank you so much. I really appreciate you thinking of me to send this meme. Like I really enjoyed it. I literally said that to him. He was like, yeah, bro, I saw it and I just thought of you and I had to send it. I'm like, thank you.
That's the best type of friendship though.
Yeah, no, it's good. Pick up right where we left off, sharing memes.
Right. Best invention of the 2000s. Changed my mind.
Memes?
Yeah.
GIFs.
They all fall in the same vein to me. Even like funny videos I call a meme sometimes. Yeah. I don't know what to call it, so.
Meme is just a viral internet thing.
Yeah. Best invention of
I was also saying GIFs because like we've talked implicitly about GIFs versus GIFs.
It's totally GIFs. Graphic interchange format is totally GIF.
But the creator says it's GIF.
Stir up controversy, I guess.
I spoke to someone today whose name was Jillian, spelt with a G.
Or Jeffrey, spelled with a G.
Or Joffrey from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Is that a G? He spelled that with a G as well?
I actually don't know.
Oh.
I might have just made that up.
No, I had like a teacher in like middle school or high school or something. His name was like Jeff Esposito, but it was like Geoff. And I called him like Geoff one time and he got mad at me.
Geoff.
That's funny. I mean, I don't even know how I knew his first name, but I did.
Yeah. So, continuing down the storyline, what was it? It was Pastor Mike discovered you and invited you to V1 Church. It's not every day that someone gets invited to church by the lead pastor and founder of the church. So, what was that like? What was that whole thing like?
This was actually in a pretty dark time of my life. To change the mood a little bit, I was dating a girl from my old church, and we broke it off, and I left that church because I didn't want to really see her or anything like that. And I was in like a depression state. I was going to like counseling and everything like that. And then a friend of mine, they had a band. She had a band, and she was leading worship at like some event somewhere.
It was at Nassau Community College or something.
It was like Deer Park High School.
Or high school? I know it was a school or something.
Yeah, they have like a Christian club there, and every year they throw like a big event to bring awareness about it, I think. And we were leading worship there, and Pastor Mike and Pastor Evan, just regular Evan at the time, and Chris Wrigley actually.
Regular Evan.
They were leading, actually, they were doing sound, and we were using all the church's gear for everything that day. And funny enough, he actually brings up this story every now and then, but things were just going wrong. Like, nothing was working. Everybody was showing up late, just like nothing went right. And so, Pastor Mike, Mr. Kolaric, had to take charge. He was like, if things are going to work, I have to do like this. So he was giving us a pep talk type thing, and he said like a couple. I don't remember what exactly he said, but he said a couple of phrases that like no one from New York would dare ever say because it makes zero sense. And I just roasted him in front of my friends to make them laugh. And then I ended up going to his church like 2 days later, and I've been going to the church for the past 3 years ever since then. Yeah,
you fit right in because we needed a bass player,
and
and you were like, "Oh, I'm playing bass right now," and he was like, "Perfect."
It was like, I mean, obviously, I don't know what they were talking about behind the scenes and everything, but he was telling like Pastor Evans, like, "Wow, this kid's actually worshiping," which is like weird to me because I was like in such a dark state, so like all I had was God, So I was just expressing my gratitude because he's all I literally had. I was like interning at a place, working full time, just had graduated college, and just like ended a serious relationship all at the same time, and I lost like my internship and my job like right around that time too. So I was like really depressed. I lost everything. All I had was God, and I was just worshiping a little, and Pastor Mike was able to see all through that and see my heart. He'd even invite me to church actually. Dan Marchalewski, he like listened to the podcast and sent it to me because he knew I was going through some stuff. And because I listened to the podcast and then I met Pastor Mike like a day later, I ended up going to that church that Sunday. But I walked into the church. I said, I'm not going to serve. I'm not going to join any team. I'm just here to listen. And then 2 weeks later, I was on a worship team.
He said you were a burning one.
Yeah. Resonates pretty deep with me. Still trying to fully decipher what that means because he's like Yoda and speaks in like metaphors. But I don't know. It was just nice to hear that somebody was able to see my worship for what it really was, not me just performing or anything.
Yeah, and I like when I forget who, someone talked about it specifically, about it's like persevering and worshiping through pain and that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember any specifics about it other than I've heard it spoken about and how real and epic it is. And like emotion comes through music.
Yeah.
Whatever kind, or even I'd say art, creative, anything.
Yeah,
it could be anything. Sure. I think that's what makes creative. I say creative; it encapsulates everything.
Yeah,
that's why I think creative is so amazing.
Yeah,
which is,
I think like music and like actual, not like actual art, but like drawing and painting and stuff like that. Those are like usually the go-tos for like the emotional stuff because you could feel it in a different way than like written or like singing or whatever. But no, I agree with you. Emotion leads to very powerful art, and it's an expression of inward pain or inward joy. Usually people go to like pain, but inward joy, inward anger, all that stuff is really expressed through art, and that's why I love it.
Yeah, I'm actually I wanted to start like an Instagram page that was like a collective.
Okay.
Like a creative collective. And I actually made the Instagram page for it today.
Okay.
But I haven't done anything or shared anything. I made like the profile picture for
handle,
it.
Yeah.
But basically with the purpose of firstly highlighting my friends who do awesome creative stuff. Sharing music, musicians, singing, artists, drawing, digital art. Digital art's on the rise. I'm enamored by that stuff. I think it's amazing.
So gorgeous, yeah.
But even painting, photography, all that type of stuff, I want to just like throw it up there and just make it like literally a collective. I want people to look at the page and just be like, oh crap, this is awesome. Or, oh crap, that's awesome. And then like I'm tagging them and hyping them up and then whatever.
What's it called? I'm going to give it a follow.
The RPS Collective.
I love that. Actually.
Under the same umbrella of RPS. But I kind of wanted it to be like, and this is like some weird vision that I've had, like I said when I launched the podcast, that like at some point in time I start doing some sort of merch, but like I use the platform that I have created to have other creators through the collective like make merch, but like under the RPS umbrella. So it's like,
I got you.
DJ Jazzy Jeff makes music or whatever, and he's got his brand logos, and I put like 3 of his things on my page, and then he makes merch through. So it's like RPX collab, like Jazzy Jeff, and it's like a unique thing that he did. Or I have a digital artist who makes graphics or whatever, and like I'll put his stuff on like a hoodie or a jacket or something kind of thing. Yeah. So it's like cool, and I think I like stuff that's like contrast and abstract, and like I feel like having creative minds coming together is when you get like the best results. Sure,
totally.
Or even just contrasting minds,
which
we you talk about for hours, but I don't know. I have like this very
I see the vision for
this very vague vision of what I want it to be. I haven't given it a whole bunch of thought other than I said like the graphic and doing this stuff, but
I see the vision for it.
Yeah. So I want it to be like, I'll get like, Kingdom Recordings. Here's some of the music that they made. All my, I don't even know. Nicole, my wife's a makeup artist. Here's some makeup shots that she did. Oh, my friend Juliet's a photographer. Here's some epic shots that she did.
Call Me Dad by Kimmy.
Yeah, like exactly. Which she started that page because I told her to.
Yeah,
throwing it out there.
Yeah,
but like that kind of stuff, or like, I just had something on tip of my. Oh, and then like DMing. So like I'm on TikTok too much, but I follow like Learns You and whatever. I get a lot of art stuff.
Okay.
So I get a lot of people who do like awesome. I get a lot of digital art stuff. So guys that like they'll cross brand like Naruto and like Dragon Ball Z or something, and they like combine the characters and it looks epic.
That's
or
dope.
like they do like cool stuff where they'll take like the Among Us characters and make them look like, you know, whoever from XYZ anime.
Yeah.
Like just cool stuff. Like just DMing them who like they got like 10,000 followers or something, but they're not by any means probably, or I assume not making like a boatload of money or anything like that. But they're just someone who does it for fun and like they like what they're doing, whatever. And just being like, yo, can I share some of your stuff on my page? I think is dope. If you see some things, cool. I'm not, I don't want any of your money or anything. I just think it'd be dope to put it out there because I think your stuff's dope.
Yeah. That's
and
actually,
then, like I said, long term, like, yo, can I put your stuff on a T-shirt and give you all the money for it?
Yeah. Angela's cousin, Aisha, she is a digital artist, and she did like a...
She made something for someone I know.
Yeah, Eric,
the contender.
Yeah.
I actually forgot his last name for half a second.
Yeah, she
made him Luffy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. She did there's like a challenge on TikTok where this like big TikTok like anime guy, not like he's like a reviewer I think or something, and he was like, I see all these artists like doing what one of the characters from Boruto like should like looks like, but no one's ever doing what he should look like. And then she did it, and she reached like she crossed like 1 million views, and she like got I think like 100,000 followers based off of that one video. And she's like,
wow,
yeah, she launched merch and like, but she's not sponsored by anybody. So if you do go through with it, like, there's your first person.
Boom, I'm in. Let's do it.
She's actually like crazy. Like I'm actually like, not because I'm technically related to her now, but like she's like actually like genuinely really good at what she does.
Yeah, and like I encourage my brother to do that. My younger brother, Max, who's 18 now, he's like, oh, like I want to. He draws like just hands with pencils and stuff. He draws with his hands. He's got graphite on his fingernails. But yeah, no, and he's like really into it. And I'm like, yo, I'm like, if you want to do that, like, do it. Like, you don't know, like, you could blow up. Like, I see these dudes that just they just do a thing that they love, and then they get a video like that blows up, and then they can like do commission work.
Yeah,
and commission work, you can make a lot of money.
She's got a lot of commissions based on that one video.
There's two different artists that I follow. They do two different styles. One of them does hand drawing and like watercolor, and the other one does like I think it's digital, but they'll make you in the art style of Pokemon. That's with your team, and they charge like per Pokemon in the thing. So it's like, all right, you and one Pokemon is this much, you and a team of 6 is this much, that kind of thing. You and your like you and your wife and your 2 favorite Pokemon or whatever. And I DM'd him one time because I thought it was dope. I'm like, I'm gonna get that. Sick. Like that is so friggin' cool.
Yeah.
And it was like hundreds of dollars he was asking for.
Whoa.
And I was like, well, how soon could you get it done? And he was like, oh, I'm booked through February, which at the time it was like 6 months out.
Holy cow.
So I'm like, this dude's got that many commissions coming through that people are paying hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars to do.
That's like
and he's booked
a living.
6 months out.
Yeah, that's a living.
The dude is doing what he does, but doing what he loves every day. He's having a grand old time. Yeah. And he's making other people happy. Like, I'm like, when you get paid to be creative and do stuff like that, like, dude, forget it.
That's
so cool.
Amazing.
So cool.
There's a lot of, like, every now and then there's 2 things in life where I wish, like, I was talented enough to do. One of them is, like, draw, and the other one is drum.
I used to draw a lot.
Yeah. I'll make you a nice stick figure. That's about it. I've seen, like, posts where it's, like, a lot of people say they wish they could draw, but they don't put the time or effort to actually be able to. And I'm like, I don't mean to disrespect people by saying, like, I understand you put a lot of time and effort to, but you also have to acknowledge that, like, you're really, like, talented and, like, blessed and natural at it, and I'm just not. So
yeah. Like, yeah, I get it. Some people are more, they get it more. They have that eye. Yeah. As people say. But I really like the post where it's like, this is my drawing of Superman when I was 6. This is my drawing of Superman when I was 10. This is my, and this is me now.
Yeah,
and it's
you
like
see the progression.
Epic. Yeah. Like, this could come off a comic book cover kind of thing. Like, I think that stuff's so cool.
Yeah, actually, right when COVID started hitting, you know who Jim Lee is? He's like the creative director over DC Comics. And for like a month straight, this was like probably like April or May, he did like every day he was drawing a different character from the DC universe and like putting it up for auction, and all the money was going to a charity that was giving the money to comic books that were not going to make it out of like the initial quarantine. So like he was raising a lot of money for like local comic book stores, and he would live stream all of his drawings every day, and thousands of people were just watching this guy draw, and it's truly like a magnificent sight just seeing a genius work in their field. And it was so beautiful, man. You could probably find a couple of the like stills and stuff like that on his Instagram, but amazing, beautiful drawings of like everybody's favorite comic book heroes.
That's a dope sweater, by the way. I'm actually surprised it's Marvel, though.
I did a big oopsie, actually. I was also wearing the greatest comic book hero of all time. Underneath Cyborg. Underneath my Marvel
shirt. The greatest of all time?
I don't know if he's the greatest, but he's definitely my favorite.
Why is he your favorite?
I don't know. Well, Teen Titans came out when I was like a tween, a preteen.
When I was a teenager.
Yeah, and he was the minority. I mean, I don't know if you consider a green person a minority, but he was like a minority in like social settings. Big like nerd, but also like an athlete. Almost said also like an athlete.
He was very athletic.
Yeah, so I just related to him. I was on a football team. I wasn't a star. I was on a wrestling team. I wasn't a star, even though he was. But he was a minority and a nerd at the same time. So I was kind of related to him. And not too many superheroes are represented like that. So I thought it was dope.
That is dope.
And then everybody talks about like minority superheroes, but they never throw Cyborg into the conversation, and it's really annoying.
You say minority superhero in that generation, I think of Static Shock.
Yeah, exactly.
I love Static Shock.
Actually, Michael B. Jordan just got...
I saw that.
I'm so hyped, dude.
I saw that.
So amazing.
You better not mess it up.
I don't think he will. He definitely grew up with the show.
He says Naruto. So, I mean, he's like, yeah, I love Naruto. Like, yo, they don't even say that in the dub. Like, what are you doing?
I know like 3 people that say it like that, and they all get shunned by the anime community.
It's literally it's like M. Night Shyamalan making Avatar.
Ong,
dude, where did that come from?
So
the source material, the comics, like it's Aang, bro.
And I'm pretty sure the show was done by that time.
Yeah.
So it's like you have four seasons to go off of, and none of them say Ong.
I want to know why not a single writer, producer, executive, actor said, but like, it's pronounced Aang, bro.
Well, he's a low budget guy. That's what he's known for, and I don't know if he got the the rights to everything.
Oh, you think maybe he changed the name on purpose?
He had to change the name, I think. Yeah, I don't know fully, but it would make sense. That's the only thing that really made sense to me so far, of all the theories.
That's theories. You've read into it.
I don't know. Avatar is one of my favorite shows. Like when it came back on Netflix, I binged it like 3 times. It's so good.
I watched it 1 time.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just think it's an amazing show. A lot of people think it's an amazing show. So when you disrespect something so great like that, people start to wonder why, you know? So
yeah.
I don't know. The original writers pulled out of the Netflix show too, or Amazon, whatever it was.
Yeah, I saw that. But yeah, anyways, back to serious stuff.
Yeah, we
keep going on tangents of nerd stuff, but I like it.
It's hard when 2 nerds are talking.
Nicole's gonna be listening to this. I just know because she'll listen in real time, like while I'm like there at the house.
Uh-huh.
She's like, "You guys talk about a lot of nerd stuff," like or whatever, whoever I'm talking to. Like,
yeah.
My first episode, I talked with my friend Dennis about anime for like 20 minutes.
I don't know. More and more people are starting to get into anime, which is great.
If any of these people listen that say anime is stupid, give it a chance.
Yeah,
you'll love it.
I started sending like basic stuff, like short little ones, to like a bunch of people were like, I don't know. I'm like, just watch this. You'll see the story writing. It's just amazing.
What do you recommend? What are your go-to short ones?
This just got recently added to the list, but it's definitely higher up there because I just finished it. Rising of the Shield Hero is actually really good. I don't know if you've watched that. It just came out. It's really, really good. Then I kind of trick people into saying into like watching Avatar because it's like kind of an anime, but it's like Americanized, so they don't fully see it.
It's not anime over the top anime.
Right. Those are usually those are going to be my go-to, and then I'll throw it. Then from there, you kind of just like go down. Then I'll say like Full Metal Alchemist.
Great.
Not too long. 20-some episodes, pretty good. And then from there, you're kind of in already.
I say Death Note.
Death Note, yeah, that was the one that Shield Hero replaced.
Yeah, it's like 23 episodes.
Mm-hmm. It's a one-off. It's a good story.
So good.
And the when you're just jumping on, you're not going to watch Japanese versions, so you're going to watch like the dubbed, and the voice acting in that one's not bad. So
Yeah, totally.
more anime.
Yeah. Anyways, so you started a business, V1 Studios.
Oh yeah.
What's the story? What's the mission? What are you doing?
Okay. So I guess this kind of ties in with my backstory a little bit. I was saying that like, old churches, Long Island, like churches that have been here for like 100 years or whatever. They're pretty like the stereotype of judgment and outcasting and stuff like that. In high school, I wore like all black and was like a nerd and was like outcasted by everybody, including like groups inside the church and stuff like that. So I envisioned a platform or a company that would make high quality content geared to us nerd types of people. And people have attempted doing it in the past, but it was always like bad. Like it was so corny or done without excellence. Just like they saw a need and filled it instead of like putting their heart behind it. So me and Chris Olsen, we partnered up and we put out a game initially to like really get our feet wet and see that we can do this, and we have done this, and it's out in the app stores. Joseph and the Rainbow Robe. It's based off of the Bible story, but it's like a fun mobile game that you could play. Unfortunately, we have parted ways since then, and now it's just me. But now my whole passion is into this comic book that I've put out called Flight Team, where it's like a biblically based story of 4 superheroes who were created by the remains of like a divine creature who sacrificed himself to save the world. So now their job is to protect the world in his stead. And that's my passion. That's what I'm doing now. So the whole heart behind V1 Studios is to put out content, games, books, eventually animations. You voiced act for me and like a preliminary test run to reach the people that were outcast by the church for what they like and what they don't like. So yeah, that's the whole vision behind the company, V1 Studios.
It's dope.
Thanks, man.
I like that whole concept, though. It's very interesting. I feel like it's very original. Yeah. Like, I'm sure there's,
and it shouldn't be.
Right. Well, I mean, you could
but it is.
You could think of things like passing powers to another, like Shazam or something per se.
Mm-hmm.
But I think of like a divine overseer sacrificing himself, obviously in biblical parallel, but to then empower other people to do what he did, kind of thing. Obviously biblical parallel, obviously people. But I think in the context of like superheroes, so like they all have their own special powers, like the White Lion guy, I forget, I don't know their names.
Marcos.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's Marcos.
They all have like he's super strong, and like this one can fly, and this one shoots bolts or whatever. Like it's dope.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there was like a whole, and it's like, I mean, it made sense from a business standpoint too, because obviously I'm running a business, so we have to have a market of people. But as somebody who fits in with those people well, I know that there's nothing biblically related there. So they're getting influenced by everything and everybody who's not a Christian in this field. And my heart just went out because like I struggled between the content, and I just wanted them to have something that they could read that makes sense from a biblical standpoint, and it's also something that they're not afraid to give to their friends. Like I said, there was other games put out. There's other like they did like the Bible in the comic book form, but it was always so corny and not fun. Like they have literally, you're going to start gaming on PC now, which is great. So you could get Steam. I have
it already.
They have Jesus Christ RPG. It's like a bad version of Final Fantasy with the Jesus story, and it's like, but like if you actually cared about making video games and didn't just think of something corny to do, you could have actually made something great, but they didn't. And that's where I want to come in, where eventually when like I get like, a bigger studio company where we're going to put out like a AAA, like Bible based game. And then when we get bigger, we're going to put out like anime based off Bible stories, where you saw the preliminary test run where it's going to...
I see the vision.
Yeah.
Just from reading the script, I can tell like how epic it would be.
Yeah. Like just imagine Naruto, but it's like Jesus or like Elijah,
David and Goliath, epic battle.
Yeah,
like
like even if you read like a couple Old Testament stories, they weren't like sugar coated like a lot of the Christian stuff is. It's like it was bloody. Like the one you voice act for, Elijah killed 200 people, dude. Like it was really bloody, and I think it would make really.
Dude, if they turn that into like an epic bloody like realism anime.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
so
obviously
cool.
because like Christian mothers are pretty like strict with the content their kids are watching.
Yeah.
So I would put like a little lid on it, make it similar in the vein of Avatar. That's would be my comparable state for it because every kid was allowed to watch that. It's not like it was
death
SpongeBob.
and dismemberment happens off screen.
Right, exactly. Or I'll just put out like a rated R version or something.
Yeah.
Because I also want it to be fully accurate. But something that a kid can watch that's wholesome and biblical, accurate to the Bible, and they're not afraid to share with their friends. You know what I had growing up? Bible Man. Just imagine Batman that threw Bibles at people. That's what I had. And then obviously like VeggieTales is dope, so you can't really talk about VeggieTales, but like there was nothing good. And I'm just like I'm done with that. I want to make something that kids are proud to share with their friends. And that's how you're going to reach more people for the gospel, right? So
yeah, that's so cool.
Thank you.
I'm with it.
Thank you. Yeah, the comic book right now is what I'm working on. We were talking about comics this whole time. I love superheroes. I love fantasy, and I'm tying it all together in like a steampunk setting, which is to me one of the most beautiful aesthetics. So,
yeah, I actually one of the first things I noticed was like the metal kind of aesthetic in the characters. Marcos, who was like made of metal or something.
Yeah, he's like full metal. And then
I forget what
Dimitri,
the other guy has got the metal
he's got
hands.
the 2 gold metal arms, actually, the full arms. Yeah, and then like Klaus is like an engineer type looking guy, and then Jewel is she's just like a sorcerer type girl. So that's where the fantasy style comes in.
Yeah, I think that's so cool.
Yeah,
again, very unique.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And they're all based off our pastoral staff at the church. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know you. You told me that. Pastor Mike is the White Lion.
Yeah, Pastor Mike is Marcos.
Where'd you come up with the names? Were it random?
No. Dimitri he's the guy with the 2 like blunderbuss pistol things, flintlocks. Jewel is obviously Julie. Marcos, I was trying to think of something close to Mike, but not Mike. So I just came up with Marcos. And then Klaus was originally supposed to be with the C, but everybody kept saying Claus. And I didn't want that. So I changed it to K for Pastor Chase. Red hair and all that jazz. So, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm with it. I can't wait to see where the story goes.
Yeah, and then obviously V1 Studios, we got our name. I got, actually me and Chris were pretty much like halfway done with Joseph and the Rainbow Robe, and we still didn't have a name. And this is something I tell to people all the time. Don't let the lack of a name stop you from doing stuff. Because I know all the time people are like, I'm going to start this company, but first I got to get a name. And then they never start the company because they never come up with a name. So I'm like, do the work first so you have time invested into it and you're all about it, and then the name will come. So we sat down with Pastor Mike to get a blessing for this to be a ministry for us. And then we're just like, can we name it after V1? He's like, yeah, of course. So then we got first it was V1 Games, then we switched it to V1 Studios once we started getting bigger.
So you could do other stuff.
Yeah. We didn't want to pigeonhole ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
oh, that's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's something I'm passionate about, and I actually know for a fact that my go-to audience is going to be like youth pastors as well as mothers of like Christian high schoolers. So I'm reaching out to a bunch of churches, and I hope soon, my books could be in some churches and stuff like that inside of youth groups and all that. That's my vision for it. And then one day I hope to see like a sick movie or something.
That'd be dope.
First, like maybe like an animation or an anime. That's how this started. This was an idea for a game, actually. And then I'm like, I can't really to do justice to this, it'd have to be like a big AAA like game, like hundreds of thousands of dollars of a budget.
Need Bethesda.
I would need Bethesda to make it, which I'm not Bethesda yet. So I was like, you know what is something I can do right now? So I made a comic book out of it. And then I hope, I can see this being like a Ninja Turtles type thing where it's like pop culture, it's like movies and international. Like that's my big vision for it. And I know it's like a God vision type thing, because if I feel like God wouldn't give someone vision to do something if they were able to do it by themselves, because then they wouldn't need God. So that's why I'm like really proud of this, because I know like God wants to use it. Not to sound cocky.
Yeah. I'm going to do it. You wait. No, that's awesome. I'm so excited. When's issue 2 come out?
It's being drawn as we speak. So
okay.
Hopefully within
How much
the
do you
next,
have like
3 weeks.
story written or storyboard?
I have like 2 more books written, and it takes some nasty turns. It's like I didn't want to hold back because I feel like a lot of teenage boys like violence a little bit. Not to sound like weird.
It's appealing.
Yeah, it's appealing.
It makes it exciting.
It's a guy thing.
Yeah.
It's a guy thing. It's like action. So I didn't pull any punches with some of the action. So I'm so excited for people to see it. But that's like a couple issues down the road. But yeah, I have like 2 more fully written. I'm working on. I have 2 and 3 fully written. I'm starting 4.
So like before I had read the comic, the first issue, and I asked if I could be a character, I didn't know what the story was about. So like wouldn't make sense at all. But my favorite types of characters in virtually any setting are like the reluctant hero who like they don't want to be running around saving the world in spandex, but they'll show up when they need to, kind of thing.
Like Bicycle Man.
Yeah, exactly.
My hero.
No, that's One Punch Man.
Oh yeah, One Punch Man.
But like Wolverine's like one of my favorite characters ever, and he's a guy who's literally one of the most powerful in the whole universe, but he'd rather just like hang out, smoke cigars, and drink beer, and like ride his motorcycle. But like when stuff goes down, he'll show up and save the day, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something about that whole trope that I think is really attractive, and it's like I think like how he weighs things morally, and he always does the right thing, but he's also like 10% selfish, 90% doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And then I think like into other things like Star Wars, like I'd totally be like a gray Jedi.
Yo, the lore of the gray Jedi.
I do not want to be part of the Jedi Order, like
or the Sith, yeah,
or the Sith, like evil and kill everyone, or like you have to follow this strict set of rules. You're not allowed to like get married and have kids, and like we're peacekeepers and that whole nonsense. Like I'll be ultra powerful, do whatever I want, and like I'll do the right thing most of the time. But like I'm gonna be over here chilling, like
chaotic neutral or whatever.
Yeah, I forget what there was one Jedi in Clone Wars. Did you watch Clone Wars?
I did not. I know, I know. So like I'm not like the biggest of like sci-fi nerds.
Okay.
I'm much more fantasy, but I've like watched all the Star Warses and stuff. Star Warses? But I have not gotten to Clone Wars.
Well, it's fantastic and wonderfully written, front to back.
I've heard it's like the greatest Star Wars stuff.
It is. I'll take the series over the movies. Definitely.
I've heard that multiple times, so I guess you should watch it.
But there's one Jedi who's like part of the Order, but he like does whatever he wants, and he's like he has this one Force power, which I think is really interesting, where he can touch things and sense through the Force like something that happened there. Like he can like see the past kind of, or like see a vision of something. Like it's, I don't know, it's weird to explain like that, but he's one of the few. There's only like a handful of Jedi who've ever had it, but there's an episode where I think it's him and like it's either him and Mace Windu or him and Obi-Wan Kenobi who team up. I think it's Obi-Wan Kenobi because Obi-Wan's like very by the book.
Yeah.
And this other guy like could give 2 craps. It's great. We're gonna go in here and just like kill people, right? And he's like, "That's not how we do things here." Like, like it's funny.
That actually is a really cool dynamic.
Yeah, no, it was the whole show was.
Yeah, I heard it was amazing.
So good.
Yeah, I should probably watch it.
You should. It's only 8 seasons.
Yeah, didn't they continue it after they took it off Cartoon Network though? Right, they did.
Well, it had ended because Disney bought Star Wars.
Right.
So they cut it short, and a lot of people were really sad because Clone Wars was fantastic, but then they started making Rebels, which is another animated series, which is like the birth of the rebellion in the Star Wars universe.
Okay.
Also very, very good, but like the what's it called? The like animation style is like totally different. It's nowhere near as good. But they like Disneyfied it. But like the story and everything, like one of the main characters, Ezra, his name's Ezra, is kind of annoying, but you like learn to understand, like, oh, like they killed his parents and he's sad and he lashes out because he's an angry teenager. I get it, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that whole series is great too. But then it like kind of flopped, but then like it grew with time because people started hating the Disney movies. So then they eventually just literally like during quarantine or maybe a little bit before quarantine, they went back and they had already made like the first 3 episodes of the final season of Clone Wars, but then Disney bought it out and they stopped the project.
Yeah.
So they went back and they finished it. And it like the whole last season is like a masterpiece.
Wow.
Like every episode, the score in every episode, the fight scenes, the choreography, absolutely fantastic.
And where does that take place in the timeline?
During the Clone Wars. So like between, it's like episode, it's like an
2 and
range
3?
between like, 2 and 3.
Okay.
And then like the end. So like
Anakin's in it.
yes.
Okay.
Anakin you see Anakin as like becoming that top tier Jedi.
So like all the in between stuff.
So like in the show, they're like, oh yeah, Anakin's like one of the greatest Jedi out there. He's kind of hot headed, but he's still great. And then like, we will let you sit on this council, but we will not grant you the rank of master. And he's like, what? That's this outrageous. Like that happens in the movie, but you don't see him become an amazing Jedi.
Gotcha.
But in the show, you see him be an amazing Jedi. And like you see his relationship grow with Obi-Wan. You see his relationship grow with his Padawan, which is Ahsoka Tano, who's not in the movies.
The girl with the
the orange. She's got
are.
the orange skin and the head thing, whatever type of alien she is. I don't know. But she's apparently, allegedly, I think it was confirmed, going to be in the Mandalorian season 2.
Oh, really?
So I'm hype about that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That comes out Friday.
Yeah, because
I'm filming this.
the last you see of her is she's actually I won't say it because it'll spoil it. But obviously, if she's gonna be a Mandalorian, she's alive. So, so I'm excited about that. She's probably my favorite Jedi, hands down.
I've heard a lot of people
she's
say that.
only in the Clone Wars, and people say like, "Oh, Rey, she's the best female Jedi." Boo! Like there's other female Jedi, and Rey sucks. So like,
Thank you for saying that. I didn't want to say it, but Rey is my least favorite character in all of
no.
Actually, no, Jar Jar Binks is, but Rey's definitely up there with like my least favorite characters.
Yeah, Rey is not good, and it's not her fault. Daisy Ridley is a fantastic actress.
She was acted
she
amazing.
Got a lot of like hate mail and stuff but it's like she's doing what she's told as an actress.
Yeah.
She didn't write the 3 movies that were written by different people. Like, you're gonna make a trilogy. This should all be made by the same person, but they weren't, and she was the main subject of them, so it didn't pan out that great.
And like you could tell I was actually just talking about this like literally on my drive here with my friend Craig. Like there was no direction. They had no idea what they were doing, and you could see it.
When they made the first movie, they did.
Yeah.
And then the second movie was made by a different guy, and then he took a different direction, and then the third movie, they were like, they set this up in the last one, but we're just going to scrap that. We're going to go this way instead.
Yeah.
And it's like blatant. It's like,
it's so bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
It's like you have Boyega. What's his?
John?
Finn.
Yeah. Well, like his real name's John. That's what I thought you were asking.
Yeah, John Finn. Boyega. You have him set up as like, you see him in the trailer. He's got the lightsaber. Oh my gosh, he's force sensitive. What's going on? And then in the last movie, he literally just falls to the wayside. And like nothing happens.
Yeah, I was actually I have this weird opinion on this movie. I feel like that whole trilogy would have been amazing if they built up Rey, because like the first movie they had Kylo Ren to be this.
He was great.
He was good.
He was more consistent.
But they had him to be this like crazy strong, really evil guy. But then you go through the trilogy, and he's like not fully evil yet. He's like, so spoiler, when he kills his dad, then he like fully is delved into the dark side, but then he just throws it away in the third one. But they have him built up in the first one to be this crazy evil guy, right? And then he's like struggling with his emotions. He's super strong, and then Rey just fights him off without any training, which bothered me a lot because you have a fully trained guy by Luke losing to someone who's never been trained before. And then I had this cool story change where they built up Kylo Ren to be the strong guy, and then Rey fights him off, and they built her up to be a really strong character, and then Kylo kills her, and then Finn takes over to be the last Jedi. That's what I thought would have been an amazing story arc, because they had teased him having, like, you know, using a lightsaber and having some Force sensitivity. So I thought that would have been a really amazing story.
Also, like Stormtrooper turned Jedi.
Yeah,
that would have
been amazing.
As opposed to originally a nobody becoming
still
a Jedi.
A secondary. Okay, like, I guess it's a little bit of an improvement compared to a Stormtrooper, but like he's nobody.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They didn't know what to do with his character either. They didn't know what to do with Kylo Ren. They didn't know what to do with like Rey. So I don't know. And whatever, like Rose, they didn't know what to do with her.
She didn't even need to be in the movies.
Yeah, straight up.
I feel like that was a part of them trying to be more inclusive, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but her as if they're gonna do like if you're gonna add a character to a movie, they should have a purpose, not to literally be an annoying background character who kisses John Boyega for no reason, completely
it was
unprompted.
Like, oh man, we're gonna tease everybody with Rey and Finn relationship, but then we're gonna just give him Rose and give her Kylo.
Yeah,
like,
and then in the second movie where Kylo's like more power, like that whole thing, and then John, I keep saying Finn or whatever, is like flying his dirt skier thing, like, and he's like gonna kamikaze this machine to save everybody.
Yeah,
I thought would have been not the character arc that I wanted, but a good one.
Yeah,
like getting a complete 180 on who he was as a person and then sacrificing himself to save those that he cares about.
Yeah.
And then Rose just like somehow comes out of nowhere and like crashes into him and saves him. And she's like, I did it for you because I love you. And then she's like not even in the third movie.
Yeah, they had no idea what they were doing.
I like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Even though, and as much as I like could talk about how much these movies are bad, and again, not a big Star Wars guy, not a big sci-fi guy, but this trilogy did have my favorite lightsaber fight in probably the whole Star Wars.
One?
The one with the throne room with all the throne guard.
Oh yeah. And Snoke.
That was an amazing lightsaber fight. But that's all this trilogy really gave me, I think.
That's one thing that people talk about with Clone Wars. The choreography for epic lightsaber fights. Because there's obviously a lot more of them because it's all the Jedi are still alive.
Right. Oh, man. I need to watch this, huh?
Darth Maul.
Yes. That was obviously another big mistake.
The story of Darth Maul.
Yeah. He reappears at the end of Solo. Spoiler. But it's like an after credit scene or something. Yeah. But yeah, I know that's like how they were able to tease him being back in Clone Wars or something. You know, Clone Wars was before all this, and he has like what, spider legs or something?
In the beginning he does. He becomes kind of feral because he like gets chopped in half and falls down the elevator shaft thing, and he like ends up in a pit of garbage and almost dies and whatever. But then they like bring him back mental. He's like crazy though. Like when they find him, he's like crazy spider leg.
That's fiend. Amazing. I need to watch that. I would just watch it just for him, and I feel like that's why a lot of people watched it, and then it just ended up being a really good show.
That's one of the main reasons why I watched it, because I kept hearing all this stuff. Oh, with Darth Maul, with his mechanical legs. I was like, Darth, what do you mean he died? I was like, oh, and then I actually watched all of them when they announced Mandalorian, because I didn't know anything about the Mandalorians. And
they go into them too.
The whole Mandalorian Civil War, the fall of the Mandalorian Empire, like all that's in there, because like the whole thing was that the Mandalorians were an independent world of Mandalore, and there were some people who believed in peace and prosperity and blah blah blah, and then but the heart and the core of the Mandalorians is like we're a brotherhood of warriors, and so it became like a kind of a civil conflict, and then like Palpatine and Maul get involved in the warrior side guys, and like, oh, like if you do that, like we might slip in and do a little something. And then like the Jedi are like, we can't let them go to war, like we're peacekeepers. But then they're saying, oh, but you're not supposed to interfere with this kind of stuff. And they're like, yeah, but like you guys are like a huge independent nation, and like you're kind of important in the galaxy. So like they kind of get involved, and then it's like so them fighting on the front end, and then the Jedi and the Sith on the back end kind of thing, and everyone gets entangled.
It's
and
like
this one's cousin and this one's secret lover, and like
that's like a huge metaphor for like the Cold War.
Yeah, no, it's dope though. It is so good.
Yeah,
everyone go.
It's like 8 seasons, right?
Yeah.
All right, so once
but they're only like 18, 20-minute episodes.
Right, because it was on Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
I should probably watch it. Where can I find it? On Netflix still?
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus? I have Disney Plus.
Everything's on there.
True.
Yeah. So, watch that.
I will.
All right, now let's talk about something serious.
We just tangented again.
We're like this, dude. Like,
hope you guys are having fun listening.
like a heart rate monitor up and down.
Yeah, it's because we're alive, dude.
Yeah, it's lit here. I should have said this before. Tell us the story of overcoming and beating cancer, because that's like I feel like a pretty pivotal moment in your life as Nick Garcia, and I feel like very empowering to anyone that would listen.
Okay. So how I discovered, it was actually nothing too crazy. No, nothing like you see in the movies or anything like that. I was actually, I was wrestling with my younger brother. We were just fooling around, whatever, and he like pushed me over a chair, and I fell and hit the floor, and I landed on my side. And the tumor, I'm gonna try and describe it because you could see it, but they can't. It's like underneath my left armpit, but a little back more, so it's like on my side still. But it sat on like a rib, so it's not like an area I touch often. But I fell, and then I landed there, so I like brushed it off, and I felt like a pretty big lump there.
How old were you?
I was just like, this was my second semester of college. I was like 18 or about to turn 18. Yeah, I was about to turn 18. I turned 18 that May 23rd, and I got like diagnosed like that May like 16th. But this was like in February when I first felt it. And I went to like 5 or 6 different doctors because it was like pretty big and it was just getting bigger. It started off like fitting in the palm of my hand, and by the time I started chemo, it was bigger than my hand. So it grew like really fast. So I went to like 5 or 6 different doctors. The first 5 had no idea what it was. They're like, I think it's this, but you should probably go see this specialist. They'll be able to help you out. Like, did that like 5 times. Then the 6th guy, he actually ended up having what I had when he was a kid. So he knew exactly what it was, which was great. It was a Ewing sarcoma, which a sarcoma is like a type of tumor, and a Ewing means they kind of like grow like these finger type things where they just reach out and like just spread really fast. So it was really aggressive. So we had to like tackle it really, really hard, really fast. And I went through chemo for like intense chemo for like 11 months. And yeah, I lost like 40 pounds in like 2 months from not eating, just like throwing up everything, and lost all my hair. And yeah, I had a big surgery on October 4th of 2015, 24, one of those years. What year is it, 2020? 2014? And yeah, October 4th, 2014, had a big surgery, removed 3 ribs, and I have a scar that goes from like right underneath my armpit all the way back to my shoulder blade. And then I had to finish chemo about that April coming up in 2015. And yeah, it was just intense, man. Never, like, I would never ever wish cancer upon anybody. It's easily like the cancer itself, the tumor, it would hurt like towards the end because it was so big, like it would make me uncomfortable to sit, but the chemo was just the worst part by far. You're literally just injecting yourself with poison, hoping it kills something else inside of you, but not you. It's like, it's rough, dude, for sure. So I would never wish it upon anybody. It's just nasty.
That's wild. So what was like, what was your internal monologue like during that time? Like, cause I can't imagine that, you were chipper and positive and praising God the whole time. I mean, you know, you should be doing, but life is life. People are people.
Yeah. So not the whole time, actually. You know, like I said, growing up in a Christian household, I was always like rushed to the altar and like get oil on me and prayed for me. And like once the miraculous healing didn't come, it's pretty depressing. I'm not going to lie. So you're like, you know, you're reading and you're hearing stories of all these people who get miraculously healed. The tumor just disappears. They just get up and walk, all this stuff. And that was not happening to me. So I was like hitting like a rock, like deep, like rock bottom, which was like, you know, one of the worst moments of my life. And then I just had a conversation with God. I was just real with him, which is what he wants. You know, he doesn't want like these sugar-coated, like fancy prayers. He wants you. He wants
Dear God, it's me again.
Yeah, right. He wants like the raw you. He wants to know you, right? So I was just honest with him. I'm like, God, like what's going on? Like I hear of like all these crazy like healings and mine's not coming. So like, just tell me what you want. Like, there's two outcomes, right? Either I die and I get to go to heaven and hang out with you. Like, that's cool. I'm for that. Just make that fast. Or I live, and that means you want me to do something. And
you gave God an ultimatum.
Pretty much. No, but not like an ultimatum. It was like, there's only two possible outcomes. Just let me know which one you want. It's not really like an ultimatum where like, if you don't do this, I'm gonna do this. It was like,
You're right.
But like, that's like the easiest way for people to understand it. So obviously I'm still here. And but he made it like pretty obvious, like the next day. He's like, hey, you're not gonna die. So that gave me a lot. He's like, you're actually going through this so other people around you know what true faith actually looks like, which was really big because it really helped my parents get through when I had this conversation with them. Because like, from the beginning, this really hit my parents and my younger brother like really bad. So like, worse than it affected me mentally, to be honest. So once I had that conversation with them where I was like, I'm not going to die. Like, God pretty much told me, like, I'm just teaching you guys what faith looks like through hardship. And that I'm going to be okay. It's going to take a little bit. I'm not going to get a miraculous healing, but I'm going to be all right. And like, things just got better from there. And that was like pretty early on. I got diagnosed in May, and I had that conversation with like God in like August. So I had a couple 2 months of like real hard stuff, but I mean, it got harder from there, but I was like good mentally from then on, for sure. Physical trial got worse, like in like January. You following the timeline here? January, one of the chemos attacked my bladder really bad, and it started peeling my bladder lining, and it can only go out one way. So I was like peeing out my bladder lining for like a month.
Oh God!
And they had to change out my chemo to a less aggressive one, which extended the timeline further for chemo. It was supposed to be done in that February, but since they finished it, I had to push it back to April. So like, that was like some of the more physical hardships that happened, but my mental was like so good that like nothing could break me after that point.
Have you ever been depressed?
After that, yeah. After that, actually, yeah. So like, I
keep asking you these questions, and you're like, "Yeah, no, it was great childhood. Like, I had cancer. It sucked, but I was good."
No, I was actually depressed. Like right before I met Pastor Mike, which was actually a long-term side effect of chemotherapy, is depression, and it happened like 2 years after. So, yeah, like they have like not like a child psychologist type thing at the doctor's office for like kids going through it, and she's like there full time because they know like people come back long term. So, yeah, it was definitely like I was hit with like a serious bout of depression about 2 years after I finished chemo. So to answer your question, yes.
And then how'd you get through that?
This was like in between church. So I didn't even really have church then. I didn't have like, I had God, but like that's because I knew what God could do. But like I wasn't like, you know, when like David, like he's like hiding in the caves, like, and he's writing all these sad like psalms. That's like where I was at. Like I knew God was there, but I wasn't feeling him, so I was like kind of by myself. So I got through it with some counseling, which there's nothing wrong with. And to everybody listening, like, counseling is great, and if you need it, don't be ashamed of it. Go for it, because I guarantee you a lot more people have gone to counseling than you think. So do it. It's really, really good.
We talked about that. I think me and Aaron talked about that. Like, everyone needs counseling.
Yeah, and that's why there's, a lot, because, like, everybody needs it, and, like, I don't even think the ratio from counselors to people is even enough, to be honest. We need more, and it needs to be normalized that, like, seeking help is perfectly fine. Like, communities exist because you're not supposed to do things by yourself. So it's okay to seek help. It's okay to seek wisdom. It's okay to seek counseling. And it'll definitely make the hard stuff easier.
Yeah, no, you can't do anything by yourself.
I don't think you should either.
Why
Obviously,
not?
some things you have to.
Go to the bathroom by yourself.
some things you have to do by yourself, but the things you think you have to do by yourself, you don't.
No. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, so that was my cancer journey. It was I had a name for him. I named
Your
my tumor. Yeah, his name was Lester. And I wanted to I like actually asked the doctor after he took it out.
Can I keep him? Is that what you...
Straight up. I was like, either can I keep my ribs or can I keep the tumor? And he said no, because they're considered medical waste, because I had like chemo flowing through it all, so I couldn't. But yeah, I did have a name for him, and I did ask to keep him. Yeah.
Ugh.
And that was a pretty like, that surgery was rough too, as you can imagine. Like, I was on there for 6 hours, and I was like taking morphine straight to the nervous system. But yeah, it was the road to recovery after that one was rough too.
Yeah. It's wild. It's crazy. My
Yeah.
uncle's in final stages of chemo right now.
Yeah,
He's doing all right though. He lost mad weight.
Yeah, I mean,
he was overweight, so he's happy about it.
I was too. So I was like, I mean, there's a positive in everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's because like, all right, so like, even for me, like, things have changed. My body is never going to be the same after chemo. So like, growing up until I was, in college, my hair was curly, and as you can see, it's straight now. Once it fell out, it grew back in different. My taste buds are not the same. I don't taste things the way I used to.
Did you get your taste back? Like, did you lose it and then get it back?
No, just things don't taste good to me that once used to.
My uncle currently says virtually everything he eats tastes like crap.
Yeah, there's certain minor side effects for everybody that's different. But the things I would normally eat just don't. Like, for me, I was like a big chocolate eater. I love chocolate, which is why I was fat. But now I'm like, chocolate's like whatever. I don't think it's gross. I just like, I don't desire to eat it like I used to.
He said, me and Nicole went and saw him a couple weeks ago, and he was saying that the only thing that tastes the same is like lobster, crab, and Oreo McFlurries. I'm like, well.
I mean, those are two random things, but
yeah.
Neither one of them are bad. So
he's like, yeah. He's like, everything else tastes like crap. He's like, I eat like cream of wheat just because it's something.
It's healthy and you don't taste it.
Yeah. He's like, he's like, but even, he said everything tastes different. Yeah. It's so weird.
And like another big thing I noticed, like a long, like obviously probably for the rest of my life, side effect is, when like you go to the hospital and they clean things with like a certain chemical and it's got like a smell. They use like the same thing at like gyms and stuff like that, like corporate cleaned places. And if I ever get a whiff of them, I become instantly nauseous. Instantly. Because I don't know, it's like some weird psyche thing where I'm like brought back to the moment of me being in chemo and I just like have to yak. That's like a weird.
Do you actually yak?
No, but I do get like the intense nauseous feeling, a little lightheaded, and I have to like sit down, drink some water. And it's happened to me like at work, because like I clean things sometimes for work, and like and so like we use one of our sprays is similar, and like I'm like we can't spray that when I'm around, 'cause like so
I'm with you. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, it's just like you see things from a different lens for sure too, and like I've noticed that they say that like once you become a survivor, there's like two like lanes you go down. Like you're really like passionate and gracious towards people because like you went through it and you don't want anybody else, or you're like kind of like a big jerk because like people complain about the littlest things even though like you almost died. So like I was leaning that way, and then like after knowing Pastor Mike, I'm like kind of headed. And Angela, she's like a big like proponent of that because she's like the most kind person you'll ever meet in your life.
Super kind-hearted and bubbly and positive.
Yeah, so like she's kind of pulling me towards the gracious side of things. But for a long time, I was like, bro, why are you complaining about like you having a cold? Like I almost died.
Just to put things in perspective.
Yeah, but yeah, that's my cancer story.
Word.
Yeah, so don't wish cancer upon people, everybody. It's really not that nice or funny.
Yeah. So that was good. Marriage. How's marriage? How was the journey of meeting your now wife and courting her and asking her parents for marriage? Did you do that?
I asked her stepdad, yeah. Which you should. And
I did that too.
Yeah. But they say once you find a wife, you find a good thing, and I totally agree. Marriage life is amazing, dude. Highly recommend it. Like if you're dating for someone for like
I highly recommend
like 10 out of 10 probably wouldn't get married again, but if it was with Angela,
I'd get married again.
Like to Angela.
Have a kick-ass party again.
Yeah. I didn't even have one, so I guess I'm still due one.
You're due for one.
Yeah. I got married in the middle of COVID. So we didn't even have that. But yeah, it's like if you're dating someone for like 8 years, dude, just get married. Like it's worth it. I see things from like a different perspective now. I have to care about somebody else. I can't leave work early now because I want to make sure we have enough money and stuff like that. And I can't be lazy anymore. And the process, I mean, we met at church. We met at V1. She's an amazing singer. And she was part of the worship team, or she joined the worship team, which I was already on at that point. And she's like, she actually slid in my DMs. Did you?
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, she posted a video of like the band playing with a bunch of hearts on it, but there was no audio. So like no one knew what was going on. So she like messaged me the next day. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." Blah 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 blah. And we were just talking from there. And then I was like, "Yo, you want to hang out one day?" But neither one of us knew it was like a date. We just like thought we were hanging out. And then I was like, we went to get sushi at this place in Farmingdale. And then after, I was like, it was like a Tuesday at like 8:30. I'm like, so what are you doing after this? And like 90% of people would be like, I don't know, getting ready for work tomorrow. But she's like, nothing. So we went to Starbucks, and then we were at Starbucks until it closed. And that's how we knew it was a date. And we've just been dating ever since. And then like I proposed after like 9 months. And then a year and a half after that, we got married. And it's amazing. We've been married for like 3 months. Yeah.
Feels longer than that.
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, we went through like premarital counseling with Pastor Jocelyn and Pastor Eddie, which I also recommend everybody does because you get down to the nitty gritty, man. Like things.
There are questions that need to be answered before you get married.
Yeah, for sure. And like I would have never thought to ask them because it's like not something you think about every day. Like down to even like making a budget or like our childhood or how we view certain things or like disciplining, stuff like that, which could lead to an argument in the future, but if you talk about it ahead of time, it won't, you know? So like we talked about stuff like that, and man, it's just been amazing. It's so freeing. And you know, she's always had the servant heart. Like I was telling you before, she doesn't have to be at work till 9. I get up for work at 6, but she wakes up with me every day, makes me lunch while I'm getting ready for the day. So yeah, once you learn to like outserve each other, it's very hard to argue with someone that just made you lunch. So yeah.
Would you say the key to a good marriage is striving to outserve one another?
Yeah, because you're removing yourself from the equation, you know? If you're aiming to outserve each other, you're putting the person before you're putting yourself, and it's just like another expression of love that surpasses words. And obviously there's like 4 or 5 love languages, whatever they are. And that's one of them. But I think when you outserve each other, it's just like you're removing yourself from the equation. And that's something everybody should definitely do. Even if you're dating somebody. If you're serious about them, start to outserve them. You'll see things just are so much better.
That's it.
Yeah.
Totes. I agree. Marriage is hard, though.
Yeah, like
it ain't easy.
It's another person.
Makes it sound really great, but it's actually hard because you have to consciously make the effort to outserve one another. Consciously make the effort to put someone else before yourself. And that whole jazz.
Yeah, I mean, but anything you put your time in, you care about. I don't know if Pete said that or if it was something else I was watching, but I've definitely heard that recently, and it's true. Like, you care about school, for example, so you're going to study and spend a lot of time there. So if you care about somebody, you're going to spend a lot of time with them or for them. And that's why, we do what we do. And obviously, marriage is hard. It's another person. Anytime you're doing something with somebody else, it's going to have a complication eventually. But if you care about them enough, you're not going to let it just fall to the wayside. So, and even if you don't, I believe in like holding up your word. So,
word,
facts. No cap.
So you were in a metal band.
I was.
Let's hear about that experience. How that came to be. How did you get involved in the metal scene? What was that like?
Okay. So I was actually in several metal bands. The first one was with a couple kids from my youth group. And we were so bad. We were so bad, dude. And the problem is we thought we were amazing. And then I joined another band, which was actually like, I don't want to say more successful because we weren't, but we had a bigger following, and like because we had a really big like social media presence, and a couple of dudes' parents had money, so we put a lot of money into our social media presence, so we had like a bigger following. But you know, then we went to like college, and kids moved away, and it just failed. And then the one you're referring to, Restwell, with a previous guest of Ross Paper Scissors,
Previous goat.
Aaron Kraniak. And someone else I mentioned in today's episode, Dan Marchalewski, and Nick Pacherno. We all go to V1 Church now, which is kind of funny. But yeah, we played in like a local metalcore band that was like locally pretty big. We had a lot of followers and stuff like that. People who would just come out to shows just to see us, which was awesome. We had a couple management companies hit us up to like tour for them and stuff like that, but just wasn't going to pan out, families and everything like that, and it wasn't worth us quitting our jobs to do. But I mean, kind of in a weird twist of events, if it wasn't for me knowing Dan and being in the same band as Dan, I wouldn't be going to V1. Aaron wouldn't be going to V1, and the whole band wouldn't be going to V1. And now we're on the worship team.
And you wouldn't have married or met your wife.
I wouldn't have married or met my wife, started this comic book company, been on Ross Paper Scissors. So, yeah. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
But yeah, I mean, now we all go to V1. Now we're all on the worship team, which is cool. We were, playing on the stage, playing angry, aggressive music where people were literally punching each other. To now we're like worshiping Jesus. But we were a Christian band the whole time.
There's people crying in both audiences.
I mean, we were a Christian band the whole time, so a lot of like Aaron did all the singing lyrics, right? And they were all like worship lyrics. And our biggest song, 15:5, was based off, I think it was John 15:5, which is, I am the vine, you are the branches. And we had like people like singing these lyrics without them knowing that they were singing Bible verses, which was cool. But now they're coming out and blatantly singing worship songs, but it's cool, so.
Singing with Aaron's cool.
Yeah, I love that dude, man. He's a great dude. And I've seen him come so far, man. He's grown so much, and yeah, pretty proud of him actually. Not actually, but yeah, I'm really proud of him. He's come a long way. He's a great leader, good dude, good friend. He's got your back no matter what, which is really important.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and Dan, I was just talking to him the other day actually. He's come so far too, man.
Yeah, I saw you posted on his thing. What did he post? He posted something about Marvel or DC in his workplace or something.
Oh yeah, he's the Marvel guy at his job. Yeah.
And then you were like, "Oh, who's your favorite anti-hero?" I think.
Yeah, top 3 anti-heroes. You go. Who's your top 3 anti-heroes?
Frank Castle,
of course.
the Punisher. I'd say Ghost Rider and Deadpool. I feel like it's pretty generic.
Yeah, that's what he said.
But like, I've read Deadpool comics.
Yeah.
I've read a couple Ghost Rider things, and I just love Frank Castle as a character because to me he's in that gray category.
Yeah.
He's a
chaotic neutral, man.
Yeah, and same thing. Well, all 3 of them, they're all.
I think they have the best chaotic neutral characters. Have the best storylines.
Yeah.
So I agree. Frank Castle. I mean, I don't think there's a comic book reader on the planet that would say Frank Castle's not entertaining. So. He's got the best storylines, and John Bernthal, who you look like sometimes.
Did you watch the series?
Punisher?
Yeah,
of course.
So good.
Yeah. But I guess I'm really narrowing myself when I say Marvel antiheroes because there's only a handful. But if we were to go into all antiheroes, I would definitely put Red Hood in there. He's like the Frank Castle of DC.
Yeah.
But he was a Robin, so he's even cooler.
Yeah. No, and he's cool too. He
was killed by the Joker, so
he looks really cool.
Yeah, his uniform or costume, outfit,
like his helmet and everything. Like,
yeah, he looks like a biker dude. Yeah, he's tough.
He's BA.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, Frank Castle is awesome. I think Ghost Rider. I've only read a handful of things with Ghost Rider in it, but he's like uber powerful. and just does whatever he wants, and then he only gets more powerful as time goes on. Like if you read the one of the Infinity War storylines ends with Thanos Wins comic. It's called Thanos Wins, where he kills everybody in the entire universe. Mm-hmm. And one of the only people that's still alive because they're more powerful than him and doesn't interfere is
Ghost Rider?
Not only Ghost Rider, but it's Frank Castle, who became Ghost Rider.
Oh, yeah. I heard that.
And then got Silver Surfer's cosmic powers.
Yeah.
So he was Frank Castle as the cosmic Ghost Rider. He's just
so powerful,
riding his motorcycle through the universe.
And Thanos just doesn't mess with him because he knows he'll lose.
Yeah. And he was like, all right, like, that's pretty messed up. You killed everyone, but like, whatever.
Don't mess with me. I won't mess with you.
Yeah. I'm going to go for a ride around Jupiter. Like,
I have to be honest. I haven't read a whole lot of Ghost Rider. Just haven't been interested in the character. And I watched like the Nicolas Cage movie when I was a kid.
It was an entertaining
but
movie.
I don't remember it. I was like young, and then the second one came out, and everybody says it was bad, but I don't remember it at all.
First of all, he's immortal.
Right.
Secondly, he could kill people by looking at them.
Yeah, he's like the motorcycle riding Scorpion.
Yeah. But I think he's cool though.
Yeah.
I like Marvel just because I've probably consumed more Marvel than DC. But like I grew up watching like the Justice League and like
Teen Titans
and Superman standalone show and like
Batman
Beyond, like
I mean
Saturday morning cartoons, bro.
If it wasn't for the Batman animated series, we wouldn't have Harley Quinn. So
we also wouldn't have Mark Hamill as one of the best Jokers ever.
Yeah. Arguably the best. I don't know. Joaquin Phoenix is really good actually.
He was really great. That movie was great.
Yeah. And Jared Leto just signed on to be in the
Suicide Squad. Right?
No, Snyder Cut, Justice League. He's going to be in Justice League. So he was in Suicide Squad.
He was in Suicide. So how are they going to... I just saw that, actually. I'm thinking about it. But how are they going to put him in it?
So they're like doing reshoots.
Oh.
So you know the whole...
I thought they were just going to release the 3.5-hour Snyder Cut.
Did you hear the whole story for it?
Yeah.
So like he was like... Apparently the one that they played in theaters, the Joss Whedon version... was only like 20% of what he actually envisioned.
Right.
They like changed 80% of the movie.
Right.
So when his daughter died, he was set back from the film, whatever. And then they gave him like $80 million or $70 million to finish and reshoot the Snyder Cut. And then he comes out and says, yeah, it's like 4 hours long. We're going to release it as like 4 1-hour episodes, or like at the end you can watch it, as a 4-hour movie, which you're going to have to like re-edit. And so it's like all cohesive and everything. And they're doing a bunch of reshoots, and Jared Leto is on as the Joker.
Wow.
Which a lot of people hated, but I think he acted it well.
He had a very unique perspective on the Joker, and there's always been not always, but there's very, psychotic Joker, sociopath Joker, gangster Joker, like there's always a different take on it. Like the disassociative personality Joker, there's always a different take on it. So I was excited for it. They hyped up the movie like it was going to be about the Joker, Suicide Squad. Yeah. And then he was in less than 10 minutes of it. And then he was like, I forget what talk show he went on after the movie came out. And he was like, they suck. I'm pissed. He's like, I could have made my own Joker movie with the amount of content that I filmed. He's like, easily over a 2-hour movie you could have made with just scenes that I filmed.
Yeah.
And they put 2 of them in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. And they literally should have done the whole Assault on Arkham storyline. Did you see that movie, Assault on Arkham?
No.
It's really... DC animated movies are actually fantastic.
All the DC animated stuff is great.
Yeah. So it was a comic book, Suicide Squad, and then they turned it into a movie, like panel for panel, so it's exactly from the book. And I thought they were going to make that into a live action movie, but they didn't, which they should have. But I actually didn't hate his Joker. It gets a lot of hate, but because it's the Joker and you shouldn't mess with him. But it's a fresh take on the character. I liked it, and I'm excited to see him in Justice League, and hopefully it's good.
That should be good.
Yeah. And they signed Disney re-signed Jamie Foxx to be Electro.
Yeah. I'm hyped for that. They started shooting the new Spider-Man.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's hoping that they bring back Garfield and Maguire. So we'll see.
Everyone. There's not a single person that opposes it.
Yeah. The only people who might oppose it are Garfield and Maguire, unless they get like a fat sum of cash.
Well, they better. I mean, if you went to if any of those producers are reading what the internet is saying, that it's
which
like,
I'm sure they are.
They're not going to lose if they do that. If they do it right.
All they're going to do is get
right
money.
People.
Yeah, all they're going to do is get money, like fat cash.
That would be so cool.
Apparently, a friend like screenshot it and sent it to me before it got deleted. Jamie Foxx deleted it, but he shared a picture of Electro like being like a big bad villain, like just his head, and it was the backs of 3 Spider-Men, and you could clearly see Tom Holland and you could clearly see Andrew Garfield. The third one, you're gonna assume is Tobey Maguire, but you can't really see it. But then he deleted it. But I had a screenshot sent to me from my friend, so I could show you after this. But I don't know if Jamie Foxx shared it. That's all I'm saying. So I don't know. I hope so. I mean, they said that Spider-Man wasn't going to be in Civil War, and then he was in Civil War. So
that was so good.
Yeah,
I love all that stuff.
I'm a nerd, dude.
I'm waiting for Logan to make his way back into the Marvel universe, but no one could do it like Hugh Jackman. I say that, but like I'm sure someone could.
The X-Men are going to come in eventually.
Well, they have to.
They were for a long time. They were Marvel's biggest IP, and then Spider-Man, but like X-Men were like the Marvel.
I love X-Men.
They're amazing. And I think Logan is the best Marvel movie.
And ever. I think I read like a theory on Reddit how they could bring them back in with like this whole alternate timeline thing with how Fox originally made the mutant story is they followed the timeline that the Holocaust happened. And Professor X and Magneto were in a camp and like they were experimented on and like that's how they got their powers. Their mutant X gene awoke and they whatever. So they were a product of the Holocaust. And then the Marvel universe did it so that there wasn't a Holocaust kind of thing, or rather it was like Red Skull and like Captain America fighting them. So it's like it could be like a different universe. And then with this multi-universe type thing that we got going on that what is it, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness or whatever? Yeah. That they could somehow be like, oh, these are these characters from another universe, and you don't save us the time. You don't have to tell their story again. We know who they are. Just put them in the thing. Like, oh, I'm Cyclops. I shoot beams from my eyes. Like
we've seen that for 20 years. We know what you can do.
You know what I mean? Like, and just throw them all in there. Everyone's canon now. Like,
yeah. I mean, I think they announced that Doctor Strange is going to be in Spider-Man, which is why a lot of people were pretty sure that Garfield and Maguire
bring them in from alternate timelines.
And then with the Multiverse of Madness, like you're literally clearly stating that the multiverse exists. So why not just make a portal and you join the X-Men universe and they help you fight like Magneto or Doctor Doom or something.
Yeah. And
which is
also
easy to bring in a Fantastic Four too.
Yeah. And then with that, I mean, you open up the realm to every future anything in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like people say, oh, how long could it go for? Like, all right, it's been going for like 20 years now, but it can go forever if you say there's infinite timelines which exist in the comics. Because like in the Logan comics, there's parts where he's time traveling a little bit and he jumps into alternate timelines on accident, and he jumps to, I forget what they have different names like Earth 616 and all that stuff. Yeah, but he jumps to one of the newer timelines where like basically every hero's gone or has been replaced by a younger version or whatever. Yeah. So like he comes from a timeline where Bruce Banner takes over the freaking world, kills everybody, but can't kill Wolverine because he's Wolverine. Yeah. And reproduces, and there's Hulks run the world, and it's a wasteland, and it sucks. And basically he tries to go back in time and like kill Bruce Banner or maybe his kid or something, like as a baby or something. Yeah. And he jumps to another timeline and he's like in New York City and he's like, oh, weird, I'm in New York City, but like, okay, like whatever. And then he goes to Hawkeye's apartment and it's like a female Hawkeye. And he's like, well, what the heck? You're not Clint. And like who Clint's like one of his best friends in the comics. And then he sees the Hulk in the street, like just walking down the street or in the middle of a battle or something. And then he goes up behind him and like slices his calf or something. He's like, oh, Bruce. And then like he turns around and he's like, what's going on? And he's like talking like a normal person. And he's like, what? And he's the totally awesome Hulk. Not the Incredible Hulk. So the totally awesome Hulk's like a Korean teenager guy who's like an engineer or something. And he's really smart, so he can talk while in Hulk form. And he goes on to meet all these alternate characters. And he's like confused. He's been time traveling. He has no idea what's going on. But that whole series, like the whole Logan series is awesome.
Yeah. Logan's a great character and a great name. I dabbled in wanting to name my child Logan because it's a cool name. But yeah, Wolverine's one of those characters who are like beloved. All of his stories are good. And I mean, his movie sucked, but Logan was incredible. Yeah. DC has...
They were entertaining. Yeah. And the Old Man Logan movie was good.
Yeah, that's the third one
it was
where
a good
he retired.
Good end to it.
Yeah. I actually think... I said it quickly before, but I think it's the best Marvel movie.
The Logan?
Logan, yeah. It's so good. It's
the
so good.
Best? Maybe because it was rated R.
No, Deadpool was.
Yeah, that's true. But
but Deadpool was great. So, but okay. I think I'll if not the best, easily in the top 5, probably 3. I know it's bold, but people separate the X-Men universe from the MCU, and I'm just putting a big umbrella under it and saying Logan's best.
It should. I just I so badly wanted to see like Hugh Jackman on screen arguing with Chris Evans and Peter Parker.
That'd been great.
Because like the three of them have such unique relationship in the comics.
Yeah,
hilarious.
And Captain America wouldn't have been the oldest person on the team anymore.
They can make old people jokes.
Yeah.
And Wolverine would always have a snarky remark.
Yeah, with the cigar. Oh man, I would have loved to see it.
Bub.
Yeah. And then DC has that like alternate timeline. There's like a whole Batman story, which I actually made an animated movie off of. I forget what it's called though. Flashpoint Paradox is what it's called. It's a Flash story.
I know of it, but I haven't.
It's a Flash story. He goes into an alternate timeline where Bruce Wayne is the one that dies instead of his Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne.
Oh, and then his dad becomes Batman.
His dad, Thomas, becomes Batman, and his mom, Martha, becomes the Joker.
That's weird.
Yeah. And so he's like helping Thomas Wayne stop the Joker. And then he gets a letter from Thomas Wayne written to Bruce to say all the things he was never able to say, and brings it back. And you have like a really heartfelt moment between Bruce Wayne and the Flash. So it's a good movie if you don't want to read it. But
I read that one that you'd actually recommended where Batman thinks that the Joker kills everyone.
Oh, Death of the Family.
That's
my favorite comic book story.
That was wild.
So good. And the build up to it, there's like a lot that like happens in other Batman stories that don't exist in that main Batman story. But like beforehand, when you see he has the face
like put on his face.
Yeah, he cut his face off and mailed it to Batman. Wild.
I like that gritty stuff.
Yeah, that's Scott Snyder, man. He's like the DC writer right now. He's so good. He writes the Batman stuff. And then over at Marvel, you got Donny Cates. If you're looking for some good Marvel content, you read Thor and Venom by Donny Cates are incredible. He's like, so like Scott Snyder's the DC guy. Donny Cates is the Marvel guy that are the top two. But Donny Cates by far is like the comic book writer right now. And he's like 32. It's great. Young dude.
He's got a lot of time.
And his stories are phenomenal. If you're looking to read, like I'd recommend like his indie stuff is really good, but if you want his Marvel stuff like Thor 1-8 and his Venom stuff are just he's the one that made Venom an anti-hero. So good.
I love Venom as a character too from the old TV shows. I kind of wish the movie was good.
It wasn't bad. It was funny. I thought it was actually really funny.
It had its moments.
It was all right.
It was too dark.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping they implement Carnage, which sucks because like everybody like loves Venom for Carnage now, which before everybody just loved Venom for Venom, but I don't know. Carnage is like one of those characters you don't mess with. So
I've read like a synopsis of like a whole thing where there's like a evil Venom family and a good Venom family of symbiotes, and like Venom and friends like team up to go up against the evil symbiotes and stuff.
Yeah, that's Donny Cates, actually. He gave like Venom a whole origin, like where he like he was a created being from like it was like a whole planet of Venoms. Yeah, that's Donny Cates.
That's dope.
Yeah, and that's why you get like you see the whole Venom origin story and how he becomes an anti-hero and how he's like he still fights Spider-Man, but he teams up with Spider-Man to beat Carnage and all the other Venoms and stuff like that. So
yeah,
symbiosis, I should say.
Symbiosis is.
Yeah, man.
So did you come here wanting to talk about anything in particular? I feel like we've done a lot of rambling.
No, man, I'm just here to hang out, you know?
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, man, we're nerding out. I love it. But no, I didn't have anything like, oh, man, I got to get this off my chest. No, not really. Yeah. I wanted to talk about Flight Team a little, but we did that, so.
Word. What else could we talk about?
How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm chilling.
How's work?
Sucks. I have to wear a mask all day now. I don't like it.
Yeah, I feel like everybody comes on here and talk about themselves, but I want to hear a little about Ross.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's fun, I guess, being Ross. No, but I started going back to work a few weeks ago, like in person.
Yeah.
And I have to wear a mask for 9 hours. Not fun.
Yeah.
And I'm not I'm not like anti-masker or anything like that, but having it on my face all day is like annoying. And like we have like secret shoppers that come in and like make sure we're following regulations and stuff. So I would assume that that's rolled up into like that regulations, like there's like work regulations type stuff, but like I would imagine that's included in there now.
Yeah.
So like I'm not trying to like
get fired,
mess up the branch and get fired.
Yeah.
But
do you find that your ears hurt for wearing a mask for a long time?
It depends on the mask. The regular like blue surgical ones or whatever are fine. But messes up my beard, which is really annoying.
I could see that.
Like the line, it puts lines in the side of my face, and then like my hair sticks out straight out, and then like it like curls up my chin hair, and then like it'll shove my freaking mustache hairs like in my nose, and then I like it's annoying.
Yeah,
it's just more annoying than anything, but like I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's not even like how is it fully sitting on your face and protecting you? Like there's a huge barrier there.
Well, that's what hair is. It's a natural barrier.
Yeah,
that's why we're hairy people.
I mean, speak for yourself, but
yeah, I mean humans is
true
thing.
Creatures.
I think that's why we have body hair.
Yeah, warmth.
I might have read that one time somewhere
in some book somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like secret shoppers is such like a micromanaging thing, and it's so annoying. I'm kind of happy I don't work in a store like that anymore.
Yeah. Also, every phone call I make is recorded.
For quality assurance, though.
No, so my boss can listen to it and make sure I don't say the right or wrong thing.
Right, you go and collect, right?
No, now I'm doing small business.
Small business, right?
When I was collecting, I could say whatever I want. That wasn't recorded. They'll be like, "What if you call me bro?" And I'm like, "Listen here, stupid." Like,
you didn't pay your loan.
Yeah, no, that was fun. I got to say whatever I wanted, and I did my job because I could say whatever I wanted. You know.
Yeah.
And I'm not like bad mouthing people, but I'm saying what
sometimes
I need to say.
Sometimes that works though.
I'm saying what I need to say. Whereas where I'm at now, it's like, make sure you tell them who you are, what your phone number is, what your address is, where you're calling from, what your position is, and if you don't say that, you get a ding on your report card.
That's micromanaging, man. It's not effective whatsoever.
I agree. But Bank of America's doing all right, so.
Are they? I don't know. I left Bank of America because they stole from my parents. I think I told you that.
Stole?
Not stole, but they like went to charge my parents for something, and they got like a new account or something like that, and like closed the old one, so they took it from my brother's account instead. Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah,
that's the person who opened the account did that.
Yeah,
that's messed up.
So, yeah, so I went to Chase.
I bank at Chase, but I mean,
weird.
I have
think what you want. Guys.
I have for over a decade.
Yeah, right.
I'm not
before
gonna
you
change because of where I work. There's no like obscene benefit to having a regular checking account that would make me want to switch.
Right. It's more work than anything.
Yeah, I'm there to work
Right.
and do my job. It's a great bank. If you have a business, they have good business stuff.
Sure.
But yeah.
Whatever. Bank's a bank. They're just here to
I hate banking.
reinvest your money for you and not give you any of it.
Yeah. I hate banking.
Mobile banking's nice, but
Corporate
never
nonsense.
Works. Yeah. Every corporation sucks, let's be honest. They all got stupid rules. And now they're just worse. Yeah, dude. I worked at Hot Topic for a while, and I got in trouble for not greeting people.
You would work at Hot Topic.
Whatever.
Wearing all black in high school.
Wearing all black, being a nerd in high school. Where am I going to go? Hot Topic, yeah.
Great.
Or GameStop. Those are my two shops. I never worked in GameStop, though. I heard their corporates sucked.
I heard everything sucks about working at GameStop.
Yeah, it's bad. I've heard, like, nightmares about that place. Matt Parenti told me a lot. But, yeah, Hot Topic, I got in trouble for not greeting people at a store where people don't like people, so I don't understand. Like, all the customers that go into Hot Topic, they don't want to be talked to. They're just there. Like, nowadays, they're there to buy pops. So, like, they know what they want. They know what they're there for. Like, why am I greeting you?
Have you been to that Newbury comic store?
Love that store.
It's so good.
So amazing.
It is so good.
Yeah. It's like a nerd paradise. And then it's not, like, all dark, so it's, like, more welcoming to people than Hot Topic. It's an amazing store. Yeah, I like it. The closest one, I don't know if there's one in...
Lake Grove.
There's one in the Roosevelt Field, too. I don't know if that's closer, though.
I have no idea.
They're both far.
I haven't been to either of them in a year.
Oh, yeah. Something came and happened where all of the malls are now closed down. So,
really?
Yeah.
They closed down again?
COVID. No, they closed down again.
They opened back up.
Yeah.
They opened back up.
Movie theaters just opened back up, too. Let's go. I've been missing the movie theaters.
Hopefully it wasn't too late. A lot of them were going to close.
Yeah, I know. AMC was saying they were going to run out of money by the end of 2020.
Regal, too.
Yeah. Regal closed down. Like, they were open because there's a bunch of states that had them open. Then they're like, you know what? Then Tenet came out. And then Tenet made no money.
Great.
Yeah. It got like an 80. Here's the thing. Christopher Nolan made it. And it got an 86%, which any other director getting an 86% is like amazing. But since it's Christopher Nolan, everybody's like, yeah, it's all right. But like, it's an amazing movie. But it didn't make that much money because like New York and California were closed when it opened. So because nobody was going to see movies and not making a lot of money, Regal reclosed all their theaters because it was just easier for them to be closed than it was to be open, which makes sense. But now that New York's open, we'll see if more open back up. My
dude Chris Stuckman, who does movie reviews and occasionally anime and video game reviews, he said Tenet was better than Inception.
Really?
He also said it's more cerebral, and if you're not like a actual like cinephile who's gonna think about what's happening and what you just watched, he said you're not gonna get it or you're not gonna like it.
Yeah.
And he said that he saw a pre-screening of it. He sees pre-screenings of a lot of movies.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
So he's like, I can imagine this like not being reviewed that great, just because
you
might have to see it a couple times to like really get it. He's like, I knew going in that it was going to be like Inception. And if you're not paying attention to every detail, when it swings back around at the end, it's going to make sense or it's not. So, yeah, I love movies like that. I love Christopher Nolan. I love good writing. So I'm hyped to see this movie. Hopefully they like re-release it for New York since we're open up again. I'd love to go see it. Christopher Nolan's one of those like he's what's the guy that filmed Transformers? Like Michael Bay. They're two different people. Yeah. Christopher Nolan is an art guy, right? He's like one of those like he makes movies into art. And then Michael Bay is like one of those like blow it up and I'm a money guy. I'm a money guy, yeah. Put Megan Fox half naked and giant robots blowing things up, I'll make you $100 million. Whatever it is. I actually just watched Chris Stuckman did a review for Megan's Body. What's that? Or sorry, Jennifer's Body. Oh, okay. With Megan Fox. Yeah. How she becomes like a succubus and like kills people. And it's like destroyed on Rotten Tomatoes. Like terrible reviews, terrible reception when it originally came out. And he watches it now. It's like 10 years later or whatever. He's like, this movie's actually pretty good. He's like, but the reason was Megan Fox was fresh out Transformers, running in slow motion, camera panning to her chest.
Yeah.
She became a sex symbol overnight, and then they advertised Jennifer's body as like a teen movie marketing to young men, like just put Megan Fox in skimpy clothes kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he literally put in his review, he puts interviews with Megan Fox and like the creator of the movie, where like she was also a woman, and she had this vision of like flipping stereotypical like horror movie tropes on their head, and so the killer is a female, which never happens,
right?
Or rarely, and like she's like, I still have the notes and the emails from like the producers and stuff coming back to me and saying more boobs, or like Megan Fox is like, if you have the DVD, he literally showed it. If you have the DVD and you go to like the extras where there's like commentary or whatever, there's literally a thing that says Megan is hot or Megan Fox is hot or something. And it's literally just like a montage clip of like all the scenes of Megan Fox being a little provocative in the movie. So they literally, and when they were doing the pre-screenings and it was flopping, they were inviting like frat kids and like teenagers and like they just marketed it as like a sexy kind of movie, but it's a horror movie. It's like a thriller movie. So it like totally flopped. But like she's like, no, I had this vision of like
Did she write it?
Who?
Megan Fox?
No.
Oh.
This other woman.
Hmm.
She's like, she lures men like into the woods, into the backyard kind of thing to like seduce them, and then she kills them. She's like, in any other scenario, like if the roles were reversed, if the guy was like, hey, why don't you come to my van and blah, 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 the girl would be like, no, you're going to murder me, like in that frame of a movie.
Yeah.
He's like, but like, she's like, you flip it and make the female like that. And oh, it's a female. I got nothing to worry about. Like, yeah, I'm going to get laid kind of thing. And like, she twists a lot of those tropes like that. And like the boyfriend of like the other main character is like actually a really good guy. And like, it's just funny. So like watching his review, he gave it an A-.
Wow.
On a scale of A+.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at it from that lens, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like why it flopped initially and why now people like it more.
Yeah.
I mean, she came out a couple months ago saying like how that like destroyed her. Not that movie, but like that stereotype of her and that view of her destroyed her mentally. She
can only be sexy.
It
like,
destroyed her mentally. I mean, when she was like first appeared in 2.5 Men, she was 16. So she was underage and she was already beginning to be sexualized. And then like when Transformers and everything that happened between her and Michael Bay, and then like the first she was in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as well, right?
Yeah.
And like all that type of stuff, like it destroyed her mentally, and she was like in a huge depression, and which makes sense. Like people are only viewing you for one thing, and that's not the one thing you want to be viewed as. Like it's gonna destroy you. And now she's dating Machine Gun Kelly, and she's like doing a lot better mentally and all this stuff. I don't know if it's because of that, but
he's making pop punk albums, bro,
and it's amazing, and it's the number 1 album. It's actually really good, but
it actually is catchy. I've heard it on the radio.
Yeah, really good. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, like I don't think it's fair. I mean, that's not how she wants to be viewed. So I think we should respect it. And apparently, she's a really good actress. Like besides that, so I think we should give her another shot.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, remember Manager Mike from Farmingdale movie theater?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see. He posts stuff all the time.
Yeah, he posted a review of like either a show or a movie she just did, and like apparently she killed the role. Like she was really good in it. So. Happy to see more stuff.
I'm happy to see his posts.
Yeah, I hit him up a couple times. Yeah, he's a good dude.
I like when he writes things and just asks open-ended questions.
Yeah,
and people just like random people just like jump in there.
Yeah, I like engaging his because we all like the same stuff, so I like seeing his point of view and stuff. Yeah, he's a movie guy.
It's like, I just watched this movie that everyone said sucked 20 years ago, but I thought it was pretty good. What do you think?
And people are actually like, you know what? I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a super good dude.
You have a weird cult classic movie that you love or hate, or I mean, it's Harry Potter. You don't get the hype. Anything else in that category?
Guys, stop hyping up bad movies. But a movie that I love, there's 2 movies that I love that not many people talk about or even know exist. First one, The Other Guys. Love that movie. They're both actually in the same genre too. Love The Other Guys. You ever see the movie? It's Mark Wahlberg.
Bits and pieces.
Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell. They're 2 like outcast cops. Hilarious movie. Love it. The other one is it's a baseball movie. What's it called?
Basketball?
No, with Rob Schneider. what's it called? Benchwarmers. That's what it's called.
Oh yeah.
That
I've seen
so that movie is special to me because I told you my parents had a house in Pennsylvania, and when they bought it, it was a fixer up, like it needed a lot of work. So we were driving up there every weekend, and it was like a 2.5 hour drive. And my dad had like a DVD player in the car or whatever. So me and my brother would watch Benchwarmers because that was the only DVD that we had in the car, like there and back. So that's like twice a weekend for like a year. So like we were able to quote that movie front and back, and yeah, it's a good. It's like it's the guy who plays Napoleon Dynamite, John Heder, and Rob Schneider, and David Spade. Like it's a good cast, funny, stupid slapstick comedy, and yeah, 2 underrated movies that I love to watch. There's a lot of those stupid comedies that are, yeah, I don't know. I guess a cult classic to, I guess in a similar vein as well as Scott Pilgrim.
Never seen that either.
Oh, dude,
I know.
that's a movie you would love.
I know. People always tell me about it.
It's like it was based off a comic book, or technically a graphic novel, and it's got like all that in there. Like he'll punch somebody,
It's
goes,
like
pow,
yeah, I see that.
and like Chris Evans in it, and Michael Cera. Like it's great. It's a good movie, dude. Yeah, that's got a big following and
Cult following.
Cult following.
Cult
yeah.
following.
I'm
for
shocked.
sure.
I'm shocked you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I know. I just never saw it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's definitely, you should put that on the list for sure. It's on Netflix.
There's so many
too.
things I want to watch and I just don't.
Yeah,
like dedicating the time to watch something.
I think the
And I always want to watch things with Nicole because she's uncultured, and then she won't watch it, or she watches it and falls asleep.
Right.
And it's sad.
Well, that's one of those where if she falls asleep, at least you get the enjoyment of a fantastic movie. So,
like, I bought the entire Studio Ghibli collection.
I think you were telling me about that.
And we started, and I literally bought a Blu-ray player to watch them. Like a $20 Blu-ray player off Amazon, but 22 movies, all by Ghibli.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's got the classics on there that people know, like Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, Howl's Moving Castle, Kiki's Delivery Service, My Neighbor Totoro.
Yeah.
Like all those, but then there's like 20 other movies. I'm like, I've never even heard of these.
Yeah.
And like we watched the first one, Land of Earthsea, or Secrets of Earthsea, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this story of like how people used to live together, and then like there were people who wanted to be like in a normal society and like under a normal kind of thing, and they all went on to live in this land that was a kingdom and all that kind of thing. And then there was like this other land where people wanted to live freely and whatever, and like those people were engulfed by like magic, and like some of them became dragons and stuff. And it's like very whimsical and whatever, but like the animation is outrageous.
So good.
And I'm like, Nicole, do you see this? Like, someone drew this like 10 years, whatever old these are, like a decade ago, whatever. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's all 2D, so it's all hand drawn. It's like amazing.
And
I love Studio Ghibli.
She's like, I want to watch Prince. She keeps saying, she always says the wrong name every time she says it. She's like, I want to watch Princess Sakura. I'm like, that's not what it is, but I get what you're saying. I get it.
Yeah. What's she saying? Princess Mononoke?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But Princess Mononoke is number 4.
That's their 4th one?
No, well, in the
DVD collection.
DVD collection.
What if not you, they say is the best Studio Ghibli movie?
I haven't seen them all.
No, so like what is like, I guess, universally agreed upon?
Oh.
Do you know?
I think a lot of people say either Princess Mononoke or Spirited Away.
Right. Yeah. I haven't actually seen either of those. I know it's bad.
Spirited Away was movie of the year
when it
came out. Like it beat like Toy Story 2 or something.
Yeah. I heard that.
Which I actually, me and Nicole watched that. I think she fell asleep actually. But very interesting story. The stories are very dynamic. They're not straightforward. So like a lot of times I feel like you finish one like a Ghibli movie and you're like,
It just leaves you
And
thinking.
you're like, what did that even mean? And then you like really think about it, and you're like, oh, like,
Yeah.
whatever. So like, Spirited Away is like a weird one, but like,
It's just amazing.
it's good.
Magical. Yeah.
It's good, and the animation is just amazing.
Yeah.
And like, the movie starts out, they go to this town, and they're like, oh, I forget the main thing. It's like you can't be outside like after a certain time or something, or else. And then when that time comes, you like turn into like a demon animal kind of thing. So like her parents are like at a restaurant and they turn into pigs.
Oh wow.
And so this little girl is like freaking out,
Yeah.
and she notices that people are being herded, or she sees spirits or something, and they're like going to like this bathhouse.
Uh-huh.
And the bathhouse turns into like a spiritual bathhouse. So like all these like spirits are like chilling in the bathhouse or kind of thing. And she's like, oh, how do I get my parents back? And I got to find them. And they're like, you got to work and blah, blah, blah. So they like put her to work. And it's like this weird dynamic where she's like working, but then like trying to escape. But then like she doesn't know where her parents are, and like weird.
Yeah.
Weird, but like
Magical. Yeah.
Weird.
I feel like that's a good word to describe Studio Ghibli. Just
Yeah.
magical.
Yeah. I can't wait to watch the other ones, though. Because, like, there are other ones, like Howl's Moving Castle, I've heard of 1,000 times, but I've never watched it. My Neighbor Totoro, whatever.
Totoro. That was like when I was at a Hot Topic, that was like a big seller.
Yeah,
Everybody
that
was
big
coming in to
cat
see
guy.
that. Yeah, yeah.
I've
know what it
seen
is.
him 10,000 times, and I've never watched the movie.
Yeah. I haven't watched any Ghibli, but I've seen like commercials and trailers and like little teasers and stuff like that. So I'm familiar with how high quality their work is. I just haven't watched any of their stuff.
Oh, you know what we watched recently? It was on Netflix. Taste of Youth, which is made by the same people that made Kimi no Na wa.
Okay.
Which Kimi no Na wa was movie of the year, animated movie of the year when it came out a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I think
Kimi no Na wa
Jesse, Jesse
hit
Pristina?
my feels.
I think he was telling me, or his wife Lindsay was
It
telling me
is
about
so
that movie.
good. Me and Nicole got into a big fight when we were dating, and I went home and I went in my basement and I watched that movie by myself, and the credits started rolling, and I got so emotional that I called Nicole and I apologized and told her I loved her.
Is it on Netflix?
I don't know if it is, but you might be able to find it somewhere else, like Crunchyroll or something.
Yeah.
It's dubbed by Funimation, so I haven't watched the dub, but I'm sure it's good because it's Funimation.
Yeah. Yeah,
but that's one
I gotta go watch it.
Nicole's like willing to watch it though because she knows how it made me feel.
Yeah,
but
I'll get Angel to watch
that
it,
same studio made this movie, Taste of Youth, which is a very different film. It's like 3 different stories that have nothing to do with each other until literally the last scene. And it's like 3 different people who go through like some sort of like life change or trauma or something. And they kind of all, I guess in a way, wish that their lives were the way that they used to be, kind of thing. Like one kid grew up in a little village in China and like always used to get ramen with his grandma, and then like the ramen place went out of business and his grandma died, and now he's like an adult living in a big city and he hates it and he's depressed.
Yeah.
And then like another one is like this kid like liked this girl in like grade school, and like he tried to get with her like in a kiddie way, and then like she was forced to go to like a prestigious university, and so he was like, oh, I don't want her to leave, so he tried really hard to get in, but then he got in and she didn't, but then he wound up going anyways, and then like never seeing her again, and like he's like, oh, how different would my life have been if like I didn't see. So it's like one of those deeper thinking movies, and at the end Nicole's like, this sucked, like, but it was good.
Yeah.
But that, like, yeah, all those movies. That's why I love anime. It's so diverse.
Honestly, between American animation and anime, I mean, I guess they're different because I'm sure they have like kids stuff, and like there isn't too many like teenager animations here. And the ones that we do have, like Avatar and Teen Titans, are good. They just don't make too much of them. But the anime storylines are, I think their writing, besides there's just so many amazing components to Japanese anime and Korean anime, but their storylines and their voice acting is just.
Nicole hates their voice acting.
It's over the top, but that's like it's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
My boy Angel, we call him he's a junior, Angel Leon Jr., but we call him Junie. he lived in Japan for 3 years in the military, and he said just their culture is so animated, and that's why they voice act like that. But it brings so much emotion, and like in My Hero Academia season 2 or 3 with like Million, I was like, I'm 25 years old. I'm 26 now. But I was 25 years old, grown man, crying over a a cartoon television show because like their stories and their voice acting is just so
when they
good.
were fighting
Eri, yeah,
the guy in the basement.
yeah,
What's that guy's name? The bad guy with the beak.
Yeah, I forget his name.
It's a good villain name too. I can't remember.
Like,
Overhaul.
Yeah, Overhaul, yeah. And the whole Million, like 2-3 episodes, bro. I was bawling my eyes out. So good, dude. Like it's just you can't. There's not too many American animation shows that will do the same thing.
No, they're all crap now.
I mean, Clone Wars.
No, well now, like you watch Cartoon Network now versus Cartoon Network 15 years ago.
You gotta watch like Adult Swim though,
like Samurai Jack
or Toonami. Yeah, Samurai Jack. Wasn't like American one. Teen Titans. Batman animated series. That was really good. Yeah, I mean, the point is there isn't too many things like that anymore. It's not respected. It's like looked down upon even. It's like you're 18, stop watching cartoons. Yeah.
No.
Well, guess what? I'm 26 and
I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, you can't tell me no more. I'm married now.
Yeah, only she can tell me what to do.
Yeah, and she supports it. So
Nicole kind of doesn't like it, but she lets me do it.
Yeah, she doesn't watch it with me, Angela.
I watch anime like while I do the dishes.
Right. Yeah.
Like I'm standing over the sink for 40 minutes. Like, all right, I'll watch a couple episodes of Fairy Tale or something.
Yeah.
Like
that's literally what I do. I'm doing dishes. I'm at the gym on a treadmill, or I'm taking a shower.
The shower?
Yeah. So we have like a window.
Oh,
so there's like
so
a windowsill. Yeah. So I just hold it there. Yeah, it's cool. It works. It doesn't get wet, and I'm finishing up Rising of the Shield Hero, which is really good. The story's good.
Word.
It's one of the few nowadays where I'm like, the dub's really good too, actually. I forget what studio did it, but good one if you're looking for a new anime.
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'll add it to the list, though.
Oh, per your recommendation, I started Umbrella Academy too.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm only on episode 2, season 1.
You watching with Angela?
No.
You got it?
That's why I stopped.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nicole really liked it, too.
Yeah, it's really freaking good. Really good. The acting's great. Storyline so far is good. Number 5. For a kid actor.
He's great. Dude,
amazing.
Wait. You're only on episode 2? That kid is so talented.
Yeah. And I'm saying that in episode 2, so I can't even imagine, at the end of the season.
But
I stopped because I'm waiting for Angela.
Nicole's favorite character is Klaus.
Which is Klaus? Big Bat guy?
No, the really eccentric gay
druggie?
one that talks to the dead people.
Yeah. Yeah, he's cool.
Very interesting character, but...
Yeah. I'm not deep enough in it for me to have a favorite yet.
Yeah.
Because no one really got to show their powers, truly.
Yeah. You see it.
Yeah.
It's good.
But, yeah, I mean, that was a good one, so... thanks for the recommendation. But yeah, Angela was like finishing up The Office, so which she did, and she cried. So, yeah, she started New Girl, but we'll probably just watch Umbrella Academy. Which New Girl?
Oh, New Girl with the Zoe chick, right?
Amazing, hilarious show. Dude.
I've seen clips of it.
It's like so underrated,
like meme clips of it.
As like a sitcom, it's so underrated.
I like those people, those guys in there.
Yeah.
I like that guy who's in a few comedies. He was in the Let's Be Cops movie.
Yeah, he actually voice acted in the Spider-Verse movie.
He was
Peter Parker.
The scruffy Peter Parker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's funny.
He's great. Yeah. That's a really, it's actually, like I said, it's like, I think in my opinion, the most underrated sitcom of all time.
I can see that.
And like she's an incredible actor. She was an Elf. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
because she has the blonde hair. I had no idea that was her.
Yeah, her dark hair, blue eyes is pretty iconic.
Did you ever see her without bangs?
No.
She looks like
weird.
Completely different person. No, not weird. Just completely different.
I like thought about it. I'm like, have I? No,
dude. Google it out. It's like you would not recognize her at all without bangs.
It's weird.
Yeah, but yeah. So I'm definitely gonna start Umbrella Academy. I think I'm gonna try and see if I can watch Kimi no Nawa tonight.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
a
watch,
movie.
like,
So if you could find it, it's it's a movie. So it's,
Yeah.
and it's animated. So it's like an hour and a half or something.
Yeah.
Animation, fantastic. The story, fantastic. Hit you right in the feels.
I mean, if it's enough to get Angela emotional, which it doesn't take a lot,
it will. 100%.
I think it could suck her into watching more anime.
I guarantee it. I guarantee it. I got emotional.
Yeah.
I mean, I get, that's another thing about anime. I feel like because it's written out in comic form, manga, like you get more invested in the characters.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, and like when you have more context, when people, like you said, people are willing to put more effort into it, it just makes it so much better.
It's a cultural thing because it's accepted over there, and they have like such a excellence culture. But the stuff they're pumping out is just incredible.
I've gotten emotional reading every manga that I've read, except for maybe Death Note.
I've heard that mangas are just vastly superior too. Or not superior, just better, and most of the people read them first, so they think it's better.
I got emotional reading Bleach. I got emotional reading Dragon Ball. I got emotional reading Naruto multiple times. I got emotional reading...
Well, I know people who cried watching Naruto, so I can't
wait to watch it. I've never watched it.
Naruto?
Yeah.
I refuse to watch it.
I know.
There's sites where you can watch like all 30
I
actual
told you
cameras.
that. I'm the one who told you that.
Oh, was it you?
Yeah. But I still haven't watched it. But yeah. No, but I'm reading it and I'm like, man, that scene being played out has got to be so good.
Yeah. No, I know people who've cried watching Naruto too. So
yeah. But even like American stuff, like if you read like the Darth Vader comics, and like if it partnered, like Darth Vader is just like an ominous character, super powerful. Everyone knows the story, but you don't really feel for him because like Anakin in episodes 1 through 3 is kind of like meh. But I mean, that's how he should have been. Like if you think about, first of all, Hayden Christensen acted exactly how George wanted him to,
right?
Which was emotionless, suppressed, whatever. Like you're talking about a
slave kid who was abused his whole life, like
exactly. Then he's taken away from his mom, who's the only thing that he has in this world, who later dies, gets kidnapped and murdered, or tortured, and then just dies. Then he's like on this wizardly council of Jedi, and he's expected to be held to these super high expectations. And right up front, you're super emotional. You can't be emotional. You fear leads to hate, and hate leads to all that stuff. So he's like, all right, I can't be emotional. I can't be vibrant like I want to be, kind of thing. So he's a very flat character who's full of rage and emotion, which makes him turn into Darth Vader. But but like in the comics, Darth Vader fleshed out as a character in the comics is unbelievable. Like he has a vision one time where when he first turns to the dark side, and Palpatine's like, all right, you need to like go to this place and like you need to fill your kyber crystal or whatever. Like when you get a kyber crystal, you need to like kill it or fill it with hate or whatever it is, so that it turns red and you're a Sith, whatever. And he tries to do it and he can't get it to turn red, and he turns it green and just like his lightsaber, and he's like, screw this, and he goes to Palpatine and like confronts him and like tries to kill him.
Wow.
But then like he turns out that it was like another one of his visions, and like he's always doing the Palpatine's bidding because he knows Palpatine's more powerful than him. But he's also being restricted per the suit that he's in. Yeah. So like, it's like it's like one of the most, like the dude lived in agony his whole life. Yeah. He was never happy. Like maybe when he got married and had but that was like it. Very brief period. Mm-hmm. His whole life is torture. Wow. It's like one of the biggest tragedies in like anything. But like people don't talk about that. Darth Vader is one of my favorites. Yeah. Shout out to Ryan Hayward that got me a Darth Vader T-shirt on my birthday like 4 years ago.
Yeah, right. Actually, I still like. Obviously, I said before the throne room's lightsaber scene, but I think the best Darth Vader scene is in Rogue One, that hallway. You like that's when I like because of like modern technology and stuff, you get the fully flushed out power of Darth Vader, and it's incredible.
Oh my gosh, the game. Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Darth Vader makes some cameos in there. Yeah. Unbelievable. I don't care. Spoiler.
I'm not gonna play it.
They have a an underwater base that you have to like break into, and there's a part where like you come face to face with Vader, and he's like straight manhandling you, and you break the wall, so the water rushes in, and like Darth Vader is like simultaneously like trying to fight you and holding back the pressure of like 1,000 pounds of water underneath. Like,
Yeah.
he was so powerful.
Yeah.
Like, he could stop a spaceship flying in the air. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy.
That's amazing.
I could nerd out hardcore on Star Wars stuff, man.
Yeah, and I know there's like obviously a lot more powerful guys that are in the books and like deep lore. So hopefully, like with Disney money and Disney Plus money.
Oh, I'm excited for
They
Mando.
For what?
Mandalorian.
Yeah. No, I'm just hoping they make they delve into some of the deep stuff. Let me get like legit like high like same Mandalorian budget and quality.
Yeah, they announced the
Sith stuff.
The High Order or whatever is going to be their next like series or movies or whatever, which is like 1,000 years ago kind of thing.
Okay.
So they've already released concept art. You can see.
Was it the proto sabers or something?
No, they all have lightsabers. They look a little different, but like you could look. They have characters, backstory, info. Like,
wow,
it's all there, and the art is obviously awesome.
Yeah, is this all just like concept though? They haven't announced like actors or directors or anything.
Yeah, nothing like that. Okay. But Star Wars is like, yo, we're doing this.
Right.
Like,
there's so much lore and content. Like, I don't know why they just like for like the new series. I don't know why they didn't just delve into that instead of making an original story that sucked. Like Mandalorian at least is like it's not like from something, but it's like deeper lore that people will actually enjoy, and you could tell it was like all flushed out before they did it. So
very well connected. That comes out. It's in my calendar this week.
Friday,
episode 1.
Yeah,
it's in my calendar.
And then they're doing something right after that. WandaVision comes out right after in December, so they did it where like as soon as Mandalorian ends, WandaVision comes out like the next week.
So you keep watching.
Yeah. Because that was like a complaint when Disney Plus first came out. You had like The Mandalorian.
And that's it.
So, yeah. So I'm excited for this last couple months of 2020.
Yeah, hopefully it's great.
They have, what's his name? Giancarlo whatever? Esposito? The guy from Breaking Bad?
Oh, yeah. That plays the bad guy.
Yeah, General whatever.
Who's got the Darksaber.
Yeah.
Which the lore behind that in and of itself.
Yeah. Actually, amazing. I was going to bring this up before when you spoke about it, and I forgot, and this reminded me. There was like a proposed idea for a new Magneto where it's not the guy who survives the Holocaust, but instead where it's more relatable, and he's just for timeline where he's obviously a lot younger. The genocide that happened in Rwanda or Darfur between the Sunnis and the Tutsis, he was surviving that, and it was going to be played by him, Magneto, and I was like full on board.
Wait, who played by who?
The Giancarlo whatever.
Oh,
the guy from Breaking Bad.
That would have been good. He's a fantastic,
amazing
actor.
Every role he plays, he's like incredible.
I've only seen him in 3 things, but he hit the ball out of the park every time.
Yeah, so like it was proposed. It was like I don't know if it was a fan theory or like something Marvel was actually considering, but they were going to change the origin of Magneto a little, where he's not a Holocaust survivor, surviving that, and pick up a fantastic like African American actor.
That'd be dope.
I was like full on board.
That'd be so
full
good.
On board. Most people don't like origin changes, but like where it's more relatable, he's younger, so it makes sense, and it's a good actor. How can you be mad about that?
Yeah, or make it a different timeline. You know,
Alternate.
how many of them exist at this point?
But I did like Michael Fassbender as Magneto too.
I think he's great.
I think his rage
him as an actor is.
Yeah, we don't talk about Assassin's Creed, but everything else is good. Which are making a series. I don't know if you saw that too. They announced it today that Netflix is making an Assassin's Creed series. But Michael Fassbender as Magneto, all of the scenes where he's raging, like when he finds his wife and child dead, or the scene where
he has the locket.
The locket just kills everyone. Amazing. Or when he's in the bar, and he's like in Argentina, and there's like 2 German former Nazis, and he just goes to the table and he shows them his tat from the concentration camp, and he like controls the metal inside of a knife that one of the German soldiers has and just slaughters the room. It was incredible. Such a good actor, Michael Fassbender.
So good. Yeah. So yeah, man.
Yeah.
You want to wrap this?
Sure.
We've been going for a really long time.
Yeah, we ranted for a while, dude.
Talked about a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Have fun in post with this.
I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to put my intro music and my outro music, and that's it. Oh, rock, paper, scissors. We have to play rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
So it's just going to be 1, 2, 3, shoot. Ready?
1, 2, 3, shoot. Not 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay.
Ready?
1, 2, 3, shoot like that.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, ready?
1, 2, 3, shoot.
1, 2, 3, shoot.
I knew you were going to do that.
1, 2, 3, shoot. 1, 2, 3, shoot. I lose again. I think I've only won one time on my own show. Plug all your stuff.
Okay.
Handles, books,
Okay.
CDs, tapes,
Yep.
records.
My personal Instagram is probably the best way to contact me now. Is Nicky, NICKY _G _OFFIC a fish. And my business V1 Games or V1 Studios you can find at V1 _Studios. And my comic book you can find there, or you could buy or download at v1games.shop. We're working on a URL change because as soon as we got copywritten, someone bought out the URL, so we're buying it back. But yeah,
Nice.
so, yeah. Thanks for having me on, man. I truly appreciate it. It's always a pleasure talking, nerding out with you.
Yeah, this is good. We should go get Texas Roadhouse and nerd some more in the parking lot.
We were there for like 2 hours, dude. Just in a parking lot.
We ate dinner for 2 hours, and then we went in the parking lot and talked for another 2 hours.
It was exactly this conversation, probably.
I think there might have been some politics involved.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about that.
We don't have to talk about that.
Yeah.
I so badly want to have someone on and just go ham on politics, but because I'm at the point, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm also not a jerk face about it.
Yeah.
Like one of my best friends disagrees with me on a lot of stuff.
We've had a conversation where like we actually align the same on politics, which is great.
Yeah.
But we've had a conversation about like one specific topic, and we came to a gentleman's agreement where like we understood each other and we actually agreed at the end.
Yeah.
We didn't change each other's mind. We just like it was an implementation of something.
It's like, okay, I like you too. We're still friends? Great.
Yeah,
Let's
go
do a
get
podcast. Let's have some more buttered rolls. All right. So that's it. If you made it this far, geez, let me know. DM me. I'll buy you a beer. Love you guys. Catch you later. Bye.